And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Bryan Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, Puff Daddy did beat the case. Well, he got convicted, but only on the lower level offenses. Okay, we can't really prove the case. We can't prove that you're this Al Capone type guy, mob boss type guy. So we're going to get you on prostitution and give you 20 years. Yeah, right. We'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later. Also, the big, beautiful bill has passed the Senate. Will it pass the House? That remains to be seen. Hopefully everything goes well and we get what we need from it. We'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later. Also, have you guys been following that Bryan Kohberger case? He's the guy that killed everybody in the house out there in Idaho. 4 innocent people at that college or near that college. And he was able to put it in a plea bargain. Make that make sense. We'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later. Also, we got Alligator Alcatraz on deck. Yes, it's built. They built everything in about 8 days. One thing about Florida, they're going to get something built. Remember they had that bridge that washed out? They built that back in like 2 days. Alligator Alcatraz, 8 days. So shout out to them Florida contractors. Hey, one thing is for sure. All you need is about 10 Florida men and they can build anything. 5 Florida men can build the pyramids in one day. We'll talk about all those things and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got a lot going on here. Man, this whole thing with Puff Daddy is so crazy. I got a lot to say about that. There's a lot to say about that because this case, man, it was not... you know what this case was, in my humble opinion? This case was career building. It was career building. It could have also been, it's a lot of different ways you can go about it, but it kind of reminds me of the whole Young Thug case. Remember Fonnie Willis, Big Fonnie and Nate? That was career building. It was opportunistic. It was fraudulent. The case itself was fraudulent because from the beginning, well, of course with Trump, but also Young Thug, it was 2 cases that she was over. The rapper, Young Thug, and then Donald Trump, both clout chasing. I'm trying to become somebody. I'm trying to become the governor of Georgia. I'm trying to become Kamala Harris. Maybe Fonnie Willis, her crazy mind, thought that one day she could become the president of this US of A. Please stop. You can't even get a rapper off the streets in Atlanta and he was doing stuff allegedly out in the open. You can't even get that guy. They got rap lyrics or actual crimes, victims from the lyrics, and you can't even put 2 and 2 together to get a conviction. You are an incompetent person trying to build your career, but you can't build your career if you're incompetent because in your career building, your incompetence will be exposed. Let's go to Puff Daddy. Why did you even bring this case? James Comey's daughter, the prosecutor in FDNY. Why did you even bring this case? It was weak from the beginning. I was told from the beginning that it was going to be about sex trafficking and abuse and guns and blowing up cars and mob boss activity, Al Capone. Okay, I'm thinking stuff like that. Italian crime family type stuff. Spraying up a whole club just because, okay? I thought I was going to hear that. I was hearing rumors and murmurs of it from the beginning, but what did it wind up being about? Sex parties? Really? That's what we got? Sex parties? That's all we got? I was promised a thriller. You gave me a softcore Cinemax movie. It's like, what is this? How are you going to send me to prison for a freak off? Really? That's what we're going to do? So because Puff Daddy is super freaky, you going to lock him up? Do y'all know what humans are doing in this country? Do y'all really know what your next door neighbor is doing in this country? Do y'all know? I've seen so many things. This is nothing. It's absolutely zero. LGBTs, we could just talk about them and drop the mic right there. The LGBTs do whatever they want in public. It'll be 2 p.m., bright sunny day, in a crowded street, and you'll have adult men with their situation out, engaging in the sex act right on the street like it's nothing, like it's okay. Okay, it could be little kids watching and all that. Nah, ain't no big deal. They're not even going to get harassed by the police. In New York City, they ain't prosecuting no prostitution. You got girls outside walking. If you got girls outside walking, that means they're not prosecuting prostitution because the police know what's going on. If you got girls outside walking on the track, go ahead and just shut that down so that activity can't happen. But if you allow it to happen, then you're allowing what happens after that. You're not prosecuting prostitution. So how are you going to be the feds? And by the way, the feds have a very high conviction rate, 98.5%, because they don't take weak cases like this. If they're going to go after a guy like Puff Daddy on this big elaborate case, they're going to get a conviction. They offer him a plea deal. He was like, no, I'm good. Don't worry about it. Give me the trial. It should have been open and shut. You had a lot of evidence, but did you? I can't tell. It should have been open and shut. It wasn't, because there wasn't enough evidence, or he didn't do a good job as the prosecution. Some say, well, she was doing this because the feds wanted the freak off tapes. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. But they did not do this. But I think they thought they could get this guy in prison. I think they thought that, because if not, then they wouldn't have done this. They would have taken the freak off tapes anyway. The feds do whatever they want to do. We know how that go. Why is James Comey's daughter the prosecutor in FDNY? Why is she right there? Why is she in charge of the Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein case and the Puff Daddy case? You see what I'm saying? The feds do whatever they want. They thought they can get this guy locked up, and they failed. They failed. I'm like, what in the world? Incompetent. You are only there because you're James Comey's daughter. And Fani Willis brought this case for the same reason why she brought it. They're both trying to social climb. They're both trying to go further in their careers by picking on people that they think are going to be easy marks or those who are going to help build them. Fani Willis, okay, you got a rapper in Atlanta everybody knows is involved with criminal activity, allegedly. Get him. Oops, can't get him. How about Donald Trump? Yeah, that'd be a good one for a feather in my hat. Oops, can't get him. Same thing with Puff Daddy. That's all. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that I think Puff Daddy is a beacon of light. I'm not going to say that I think that he is the best human to ever walk the earth. But goodness gracious, if you think that he did something, go ahead and convict him on it. Don't say Mann Act. That's a cop out. You talking about I'm a mob boss. Go ahead and find me guilty. And if you can't, let me go. That's to be the way it is. And if it's not, then what are we talking about? Trump was facing the same situation. If you said that Trump did something illegal, bring him to court and find him guilty. If you can't, then that means you had nothing from the beginning, or you're a poor prosecutor, because if you got enough evidence, it should be open and shut, right? It wasn't. So yeah, like I said, Puff Daddy, look, I'm no fan of his lifestyle. I'm not into none of that. I don't do no drugs. I'm not engaging in no freak off. I'm a super square. I'm like a cube. I am a square. I don't play around with stuff like that. We're talking about going to prison though. We're talking about going to prison. Prostitution, for real. That's what you got. If that is something to go to prison over, then OnlyFans should get shut down today. OnlyFans should get shut down today, because what do y'all think they do on OnlyFans? A lot of these people that are creators on the platform are going to fly all over the world, not just the country, but all over the world to find partners to film content with, and they're going to beam it out to the whole world. So if Puff Daddy goes from New York to LA with his girlfriend and they have a sex party, he got to go to prison for that. But if an OnlyFans creator has 1,000 men have sex with her and they flew from all over the world to do it, there's no crime there. Make it make sense. So yeah, I don't know, man. People are weird. And I think this case was just ridiculous. It shouldn't have been brought to begin with. Cassie was just as much responsible for what happened with the free calls as Puff Daddy, because she was organizing it. She was threatening people. And I got I got audio of her talking about threatening somebody over the free call tapes. She was almost, it was almost like Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. You understand what I'm saying? Almost, because it wasn't no minors involved with this. It wasn't no actual kidnapping. It wasn't that going on. But if Jeffrey Epstein is a bad guy, Ghislaine Maxwell was right there with him. She was a madam organizing everything. It was the same thing with Puff and Cassie. So how was Cassie the victim? Oh, because he beat her up? Okay, well, get him locked up for the assault. Rather than just saying, oh, I think he's a bad person, lock him up for this crime that's not even really a crime. And then excusing her role in it because she was just as guilty as him. It was a Bonnie and Clyde type situation. It wasn't the victim. It wasn't the victim and the abuser. It was not that. We got evidence to show it. I'm not excusing none of their behavior. I think his behavior was abhorrent and so was hers. I think this lifestyle is disgusting. People that engage in that kind of behavior are ridiculous. In the music industry, this kind of thing goes down where people who have power are over those who are below them, take advantage of them. But is it illegal? Especially when we're talking about an 11-year relationship. That's not a mistake. That's not like, okay, well, he ensnared me. Nah, that's like y'all were pretty much married. That's common law marriage. Anyway, there's a lot I want to say. I'm gonna read some of the comments. Yeah, and Jennifer says Diddy got denied release. He stays in jail till sentencing. Of course, because they can't just, because if they just let him go, it's over. And they let him go, it's over. He's not going to flee because he's not going to get no time for these little ticky-tack charges. Mann Act violation, a Jim Crow law that really shouldn't even be on the books no more because of the way that society has changed. Like I said, OnlyFans, you got 1,000 guys and one girl who flew from all over the world to do it. And everybody got some money or she got some money and they put it on the internet and the whole world can watch it. But this, it's antiquated because of the way things have changed and what people are able to do. So this was nothing. I mean, if it's me, I'm confident. I'm like, I go back to sentencing and then take my little time served, 2 years or whatever. And I'm sure that Trump going to pardon him because Trump pardoned Jack Johnson, who was convicted of the Mann Act back in the early 1910s. And he gave him a posthumous pardon in 2018. So, yeah, I'll look forward to that. I'll be like, all right, it's 2025 right now. I'll probably get a Trump pardon if I go to the penitentiary. Most of them I do is like 3 years in them, and it's a wrap. Already done 9 months, so it's going to be less than 4 years. I take that versus getting life in prison, which is what he was facing if he was to get convicted on those big charges they couldn't get him on. So, yeah, I think that they should just go ahead and let him go because you're not going to get much more than what you got. Just take it as a loss. And the feds got to look into this. Trump, if you're listening, Dan Bongino, whoever, look into this because I think there's some corruption happening with SDNY. And it started with Trump, maybe even a little bit before Trump. But they were trying to prosecute Trump. That didn't work. You're trying to prosecute, I think they were trying to get Jay-Z. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But they tried to get Puff, didn't work. Look into them and look into Fulton County, look into Fonnie Willis and what she was doing down there as well. Okay, hey, J Balu, I'm like a cube. I am super square. I don't do none of that. And, you know, sometimes when I see people that I know and I see what they're into, I'll be like, I used to get shocked when I would see things that people would do. People that y'all might know, I've seen what they do. I used to get shocked, but it's been so many years since I've been seeing stuff like this. I'm talking about when I was like teenager. It's so many years I've been seeing stuff like this and what people actually do behind closed doors. This is a big nothing burger. Big nothing burger. My, oh my. Like I said, I'm no fan of Puff Daddy and his lifestyle, man. But if he did something, convict him on it. Very simple. But they were trying, they got him remanded and not giving them the bail because they got to look like they tough. They can't just let him go, which is what they should do, but they can't because they want to save face. They want to save face and look tough. So here's what they might do in sentencing. Here's my guess. It'll be some crazy amount of probation, 20 years probation. He might do 3 years of an ankle monitor at the house. They might give him the NBA Youngboy. That'd be hilarious. If they gave him the NBA Youngboy, that'd be hilarious. I'd be like, man, come on, this dude, 55 years old. 55 years old. He's not some young and wild New Orleans dude. I mean, come on, what are y'all thinking about? But they might do that. Give him the NBA Youngboy, let him sit in the house for a few years and have a long time of probation and then no jail time, no prison time. Because if you put him in prison for stuff like this, then you got to start looking at regular everyday people doing things like this and locking them up as well. And this kind of thing is so widespread and normal, you can't really get them on that. That's all. So what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Do y'all think that this is going to be, he gets out relatively soon? And just for a little bit of context, he was convicted on the Mann Act twice, one with Cassie and one with the Jane Doe. And by the way, both of the women, Cassie and Jane Doe, admitted to participating willingly. They were getting money for it. They were just going along with it. Then all of a sudden, hey, I want some money. Go ahead and get it up. Cassie, look, if Puff would have paid Cassie back in 2023 or before then, when she was asking them for it privately, you don't hear any of this. Why would she go to the media? All she wanted was the money. Hey, Puff, check it out. I want $20 million. Me and my husband want $20 million. And if you don't give it to me, I'm going to release the tapes. Check it out, Playboy. I ain't giving you nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's all about love. I ain't giving you nothing, Playboy. You at the free calls. You having a good time, Playboy. I ain't giving you nothing. All right, watch this. And then here come the video on CNN. Now your whole world's over. Now you got to try to play catch up, pay the $20 million after the fact. But now the video was out there, and here come an avalanche people talking about, oh, he touched me in 1989. See what I'm saying? If you would have paid the money, then this don't happen. But like I say, I'm not trying to excuse the behavior. I'm just pointing out what happened. This became a very popular case, and then they seized on it. That's all. St. Andrew says 2 years and minimum security. It could be. You guys were laughing. Let me see. Sam says, I ain't laughing. All right, man. I understand. People, it's kind of sensitive. I get it. I understand. Excuse me. I got a little bit of a cold, but I'm good. Lightworker says, charges don't fit, must acquit. Hey, shout out Johnny Cochran. Hey, Brian Steele, that's the lawyer, right? He was the same lawyer in the Young Thug case. It's so weird, man. It's like, are they playing the script? So you got SDNY and Fulton kind of doing similar things. Is this like the Truman Show? What's going on? Like, what's really happening? And the same lawyer in both. Shaquille Oatmeal says, Diddy doesn't affect my life whatsoever, but I won't be open to him paying my bills. Vampire says, ABL gets shot by the French kissing. I do. I sure do. I told y'all, man, I'm a square. I'm a Puritan. I don't know nothing about none of this stuff, man. Diddy gonna walk? Yes. He mostly, if he gets any prison time, which I doubt, it's going to be less than 3 years. And if that's all you got from the feds, because this ain't no, this is the federal, this is the SDNY, this is the federales doing this. If you get 3 years from a federal case, you're talking about taxpayer resources wasted on this for a typical, listen, if you get arrested, if you get caught prostitution in New York City, most is going to be $1,000 fine. $1,000 fine, maybe a year in jail for something bad. But they don't even prosecute that in New York City. So, man, it's crazy. All right, Fish says, is it time to buy Johnson & Johnson stock? You might as well, because baby oil is going to be selling like hotcakes all over the interwebs. Okay. Let me see. All about the Benjamins. That's right. That's right. Okay. A big waste of time. A big waste of time and money. That's what it was. But look, before we go any further, I got some videos. I got clips. I got everything. I don't want to go too far too early. Thank you guys for watching. I definitely appreciate y'all. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the best, but also shout out to the sponsors, patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will always be in the box, or go to patriotpost.us in your browser. Tell them that ABL sent you. Yeah, that's right, AB. They don't prosecute anything in New York City, Gotham City. You could do whatever you want. You can smoke crack in the middle of the daytime. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's Gotham City. But anyway, and then they want to lock Batman up. They want to lock, what's my man's name? Daniel Penny. They want to lock Batman up. It's like, come on, man. You in Gotham City, the police ain't going to do nothing. They can't do nothing because of how widespread the crime is. You got drugs, guns, all of that everywhere. Here come Batman saving the day, and you want to lock him up. Make it make sense. See, I see why Batman kind of just wanted to be off in the cut and not really deal with y'all. But anyway, shout out to, patriotpost.us. Shout out to ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more on ablmerch.com. Again, that's ablmerch.com. Also, please go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. You'll be able to find articles for each video that I produce. And in each article, we got sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the Democratic, Republican, politically agnostic, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there on the front page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. Also, please go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. They'll be able to find my email address, my email address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X, TikTok. All those links are right there on the contact page, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. And as I always say, if you ever think you're conversing with me on the interwebs or not, you're probably not. And you can guarantee that you're not by checking the method of communication. If the email is some random Gmail, 18-digit, 18-letter, 1,000 number, WhatsApp number, it's not me. Don't get scammed by nobody living in the western part of Africa or the eastern part of Europe or anybody in the Indian subcontinent. And the Indians, they're a little bit more high-tech with it. The Nigerian dude going to call you, be like, hello, my dear. God, give me the number from the card. The Indian dude, okay, turn on your computer, show me the screen, all that type of jazz. So please be careful. Don't get scammed. Don't nobody got no time for that. It's 2025. And now they got the AI. They got the AI, so they might try to like make a facsimile of me. But just know that I'm not going to offer you no kind of get rich quick scheme ever. So even if it's AI, ABL, don't even believe it. Don't believe it. ABL would never say that. And it looks kind of crazy anyway. I'm not believing it. But anyway, let's get to some articles and some videos and a little bit of everything here. You see what it says right here in New York Post. Diddy verdict. Mogul denied bail after being acquitted on sex trafficking, racketeering, guilty only of prostitution. Listen, they don't even prosecute that in New York City. Prostitution? Really? And you're going to deny me bail? They don't even prosecute that. So why would you deny me bail? It's because you think I did the other things? Not me. You think he did these other things, right? Okay, well, convict him on that. Convict him on it. It's the same thing I was saying with Trump. It's like, look, you think I did something, really show some evidence and actually convict me and do it righteously. Don't give me no kangaroo court type situation. Don't do that. I don't care if you black, white, Puerto Rican, the candy stripe, because it's a miscarriage of justice when this kind of thing happens. And also it can happen to any one of us. They could just say, you know what? We don't like what you're doing. We're going to throw you away and we're going to try to find a way to get you locked up. I'm not a big fan. So, they were trying to get like $1 million bond. That would have been the smart thing to do, but it would have made the court look that would have been so embarrassing for the court. That would have been so embarrassing that after all of that, he gets to bond out and go home. That would have been embarrassing because again, what they're going to do is give him some kind of harsh sentence without jail time. It'd be something like, okay, to give you the NBA YoungBoy treatment, let you be at home for 3 years on the ankle monitor, and then it'd be 20 years of probation, a $10 million fine, stuff like that. It won't be no prison time. All right, on. We got a few super chats from Apu. I'm gonna keep reading those, Apu. Thank you, man. But here is Cassie talking really crazy to somebody about the Freakoff tapes. Okay, now listen. Whatever you think about this case, it's fine. I want you to hear this if you've not heard it yet.
You don't have to see it, but it's my life and I'll kill you.
Yeah, but
no, I will if you don't show me right now. I will you and I will hide you and I will cut you up and put you in the dirt right now. Pull it up. If you have it, pull that up. Because if not, I'm going to you and then he's going to you again. So just do it. Pull that up right now. You got that pull that up. I'm going to you. You don't understand. I don't give a I've never anybody in my life, but I will you because you're with me. You're with me in my life right now. If I saw a video of you doing anything that you didn't want people to see, I would show you the video so you could tell me what the happened. You're playing games with me, telling me you saw some now you're saying you didn't see some you're with me. I'm going to you up. I don't think you understand. And it's not going to be my hands, and it's not going to be blood on my hands. Someone else is going to do it. So you have to tell me right now, and I'm recording this whole shit, FYI, tell me what the you're talking about. Because this is not cool. We're not playing. I'm not playing with you, Sujit. Like, you saw some Yes, you're my brother. Be my brother and tell me what you saw. You're going to be able to find it?
All right, there we go. Again, that was Cassie talking to somebody about some freak off tapes, because I'm not sure who that was on the other end of that barrage of curse words. It was not Puff. It was somebody who had the freak off tapes or a copy of one. And she was threatening to go ahead and just, take him on out back and do it to him if he didn't show her or give it up and all of that good stuff. Now, does that sound like this crying victim that can't do anything for herself? Does that sound like her? I think she was made whole when he gave her the money. That's all she wanted from the beginning. It was never no criminal thing from the beginning. It was always a civil thing that became a criminal thing once it became very popular. She got her money, okay, and that's it. That should have been it. But once he delayed the money or didn't really want to do it, that's when the video came out, and that's when everything went downhill. Exactly, Sadie. She sounds just as bad as him. Exactly. So how is anybody a victim? It sounds like they were on the same page, both engaging in debaucherous behavior. Again, I'm not excusing the behavior. But you want to take a toxic relationship between two toxic people and turn that into a criminal enterprise. Only one person, Puff Daddy, is running the enterprise. It was a weak case from the beginning. It shouldn't have got brought. I think this was James Comey's daughter, again, the prosecutor in SDNY, trying to make a name for herself, the same way that Fonnie Willis did with Trump and Young Thug in Fulton County, Georgia. Same thing. Cassie was a terrible witness. Okay, the Jane Doe was the same as Cassie on a lower level. So, Carlos is funny. Tell me, I ran the camera. You guys are hilarious. So what do y'all think? Oh, matter of fact, I'm going to play some of this because this person, shout out to Brianna Morello over on the Twitters. She has an opinion about why this case was brought, aside from just trying to get Puff Daddy locked up, okay?
Sean,
let's watch some of this, and you guys give me your opinion.
Diddy Combs' criminal trial had very little to do with sex trafficking and racketeering, and everything to do with our federal government getting its grimy little hands on those freak-off sex tapes. All you had to do was pay attention to the last 2 months in criminal court, and you'd quickly realize that federal prosecutors were doing a horrific job at proving their main argument. Actually, I'd also argue that they did a better job at proving that Cassie, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, was the one who was orchestrating the sex trafficking, because in court, she admitted to paying these sex workers, and she also admitted to being the one to orchestrate a lot of it. Even in text messages, she was sitting there and typing, because she didn't deny that this was her, saying that she'd rather have a female sex worker than a male sex worker in one of these sex parties. Folks, the reality of it here is RICO is a very tough charge to make stick. In fact, most criminal attorneys can't really even detail it and what it means to a jury. That's just the reality behind all of this. And unfortunately, our federal government did a horrible job at proving RICO, because you're trying to say that Diddy was the one running a criminal enterprise, and yet you only have one person charged.
Exactly. And one person is just Puff. How is it an enterprise with one person? An enterprise means you got like this whole big thing. You got people all over the country, all over New York or whatever, doing things for you, but you were not able to prove that. Everything was about Puff Daddy. So the case was weak. Man. Look, if you want to be a prosecutor, you got to bring a strong case. The feds don't even mess with cases as weak like that. Even if you could say that somebody did something and they should get locked up, you got to have a strong case. And they don't take weak cases because it messes with their overall rate. And then also, even though you can't actually get a conviction, why would you waste taxpayer resources on it? For what? Just to make their life inconvenient, to try and just send a message to try and intimidate them? That's not the way that we should use the legal system in this country. Now, let's move forward away from that a little bit. Before I get to that, I'm gonna read some of the comments. RICO not a crime. One person is a RICO. Yeah. Free RICO, he did nothing wrong. You guys are funny. Cassie for the streets. Cassie's the same as Puff. There, again, again, I'm gonna stress this because I don't want anybody to think that I'm sympathetic toward what Puff Daddy was doing. I'm not, because I don't do none of that type of stuff. Although a lot of people who say they don't do that kind of thing do that kind of thing, but that's a different story. I don't do that type of thing, and I don't appreciate that kind of lifestyle. But kind of lock you up for it because I don't like it. Yeah, it ain't too much there. It's not too much there. But do y'all think the feds wanted the freak off tapes, or was it something else? Was it a career building thing? Y'all let me know. Okay, hold on. Steve says they found cages and tunnels underground in his mansion. I've never heard about that. Hopefully that's not you spreading rumors, boss. I've not heard about that at all. The prosecutor was James Comey's daughter. That's correct. And she also was over Ghislaine Maxwell. And that was kind of shaky. That should have been slam dunk because it was minors involved. That should have been easy. Anybody could have prosecuted that. I could have prosecuted that case. But that was kind of shaky. She almost didn't get that one. Okay, you believe me, ABL? Oh, see, I believe you, ABL. Thank you. You believe me. Frederick says some people want Diddy in jail. I don't know. I don't know how we can't really. You know what? I'm glad you said that. Frederick says same people who want Diddy in jail want Carmelo Anthony to be free. I don't think so. And I don't think that it's necessarily about a race thing. See, I can look at a case and look at it objectively without having to bring race into it. Because when I was saying that Carmelo Anthony had defended himself, people were talking about, well, you taking the black person's side. It's like, nah, I look at it for just what it is, the incident, without color being involved. The same thing with Daniel Penny. I called him Batman earlier. Why are you going to lock Batman up in Gotham City? I look at things for what it is, just based on the incident and not based on the skin color. Now, some people look at it strictly based on skin color. Okay, if it's a black person and I think they might have done something, give them the rope. If it's a white person and they might have done something, give them the rope. I don't look at it like that. I look at it objectively. Looking at it from a racial lens is kind of a low-level way of thinking, in my humble opinion. Okay. Let me see. James Comey daughter spread the word. Yeah. The BBB passed. Okay, let me look it up. Did it pass the Senate or did it pass the House? Because, okay, it's moved to the House, but I don't see anything about it passing the House. So I'm reading this right here. It was updated 13 minutes ago. It says House Speaker Mike Johnson has said he hopes a final vote on the Trump-backed bill will take place today or tomorrow. So maybe you guys are getting more up-to-date information, but I don't see anything about the big, beautiful bill being passed. It passed the Senate, not the House yet. Okay, hold on. Thank you, Frederick Craig says, that's my very point. There are people who are looking at for matters of race when it can benefit them, right? Yes. Now, I also heard about Carmelo, before we move on, because I'm going to move on away from that too. I heard about Carmelo's family blowing the money, but I've only heard about that from like YouTubers and a couple of blogs. But I've been trying to find information about that, like from news media sources, local news media, anything other than YouTubers, and I've not found it. Now, maybe I've just not been looking in the right places. Maybe I've not found what I need to find, and you guys have it. But if you have like an official source that says Carmelo Anthony's family had blew through the money, y'all let me know. What I have seen is that they raised the GoFundMe to like 1.4 million. But what I have not seen is why they did it from an official source. What they should do is come out and be very transparent and say, hey, this is why we need the money. Itemize your expenses that you need from the actual money. Because if you don't do that, people get to just making up their own conclusion and spreading rumors without having factual information. But again, the rep they got, that's part of his fault. That's part of his job, is to come out there and say that. And if he didn't, then that's partly his fault, while we getting people that are just speculating about where the money went or what they're spending the money on. He applied for a court appointed lawyer. I understand that, but where's the information that says what they spent the money on? Okay. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying nothing. And I do this for any case. Y'all see, when I do my videos, I give you articles. I'll cite the articles in the video. I'll write an article myself and put the article. I can't just give you something that I don't have any actual real information on. I can't do that. That's irresponsible journalism. Paul 48 says, Big Beautiful bill did not pass the House, but amended for a Senate version, full vote later. But if House amends bill, goes back to the Senate. So we still kind of in limbo with that. So we still got a little bit of time. Okay, that's what that is. So do you guys have any official news sources that has what the money was spent on, or are we just going off of YouTubers? Y'all let me know. Okay. Let me know, but we'll move on away from that. Speaking about mainstream media, stuff like this. So look, remember the whole thing with Kamala and the edited interview? I got to show that video as well. Matter of fact, do I have that? I need to show that right now for context. But remember that edited interview that that CBS 60 Minutes put out of Kamala? There was two different answers to the exact same question. They put out one version of the answer, and they put out another one like the next day. And they both were just on the internet. Matter of fact, here it is. Okay, I got it. Perfect. Shout out to you, Benny, for posting it. But let me show you. Before we get to that, let me show you. So it says Paramount bends to Trump, 5 takeaways on 60-minute settlement. So Paramount has paid Trump $16 million for a settlement over the whole Kamala interview. Let me zoom in a little bit right here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. So you see what it says right here. Paramount Globals, they're going to pay $16 million to settle a lawsuit brought by President Trump over the interview. Okay. I'm sorry how it's kind of cut off like that, but I can't get it a little bit in frame. You can probably see it right there. Paramount Global's agreement to pay $16 million to settle a lawsuit brought by President Trump over the 60 Minutes interview by then Vice President Kamala Harris is reverberating across the media industry and highlighting Trump's success in using the power of federal government to pressure news outlets. That's funny. That's funny how they put that. But the thing is, he was right to sue them over that because that was completely misleading. How are you going to put out a different version of the same answer from a presidential candidate? You guys are participating in trying to fool the public. You putting out propaganda. Why would you be allowed to do that? Why would you do that? Now, for some context, let's look at this. I covered this right when it happened, and I was shocked then. But again, nowadays, with all of what I see, it's kind of hard to shock me. But let's watch this from back then. Again, this is Kamala Harris's interview on CBS 60 Minutes during the campaign last year, 2024.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
But it seems that
right there, I have never seen such a thing before or after. I mean, that was crazy. Now, we know the media sucks. We know how bad they are, but that was just egregious. I was like, man, come on. Really? This is very important, man. You're talking about somebody running for president. You're going to have millions of people vote. You're talking about the trajectory of the whole world can be altered by one election. And y'all wouldn't have put out propaganda? No way. They were trying to hide how incompetent she was by doing stuff like this. When there'd be any kind of interview, any kind of anything, they would heavily edit it. They would try to put in B-roll. I forget, there was one thing that she did with CNN. They put in so much B-roll. It was like, okay, is she going to talk? It was an hour-long segment for Kamala Harris, a Kamala Harris interview for 1 hour. She was so bad, it was only actually 18 minutes of her talking. The rest was a lot of commercials, Tampon Tim Waltz, like a support animal, like a support dog. He was there talking. B-roll from her childhood, random footage, AI footage. It was a mess, man. It was a whole mess. Automotive Truth Podcast says it was reported that they denied Diddy's bail. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier because they wanted to be tough guys. They wanted to be all big and bad. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Okay, now we got some more here. Bryan Kohberger. Remember, this is the guy who took the life of 4 innocent people in Idaho college students. Remember them? Let me see if I could put this right here. Remember these kids that he took away, young adults? May they rest in peace, prayers out to the family. This guy was able to plea. So look, the defendant avoided a quadruple murder trial set for next month and a potential death penalty sentence, with the judge approving a deal for him to plead guilty instead. I mean, listen, this should have went to trial. 4 people, come on. And these are innocent people. It wasn't like self-defense. There's no justification. There's no reason other than he wanted to just do that. Maybe he was stalking them or whatever. You able to plead out? Nah, you should go to trial. And if convicted, he would have most certainly got the chair. If it's up to me, y'all know me, take him out back. Something like this, I don't care what color you are. Something like this, take him out back. Okay, the illegal aliens driving drunk, killing people, take them out back. This happened quite a bit, actually, with the illegal aliens killing people while they're driving drunk. There was a family not too far from where I live, and everybody involved was Hispanic, but we have a Hispanic community here, and they cool. A lot of the Guatemalans, and they cool. They're not the migrants causing the problems. They pretty much just stay in their pocket and they chilling. But the Venezuelans and some of the other Hispanics, the criminal Hispanics from all over the Central America region, they come here and they act a fool and they hurt people. And a lot of times it's their very own people. The Venezuelans who went to Aurora, Colorado, they were extorting their own Venezuelans who were already in Aurora. It was a mess. Now, here is some of that plea deal from that dude, Bryan Kohberger.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Bryan Kohberger admitted in court that he stabbed and killed 4 University of Idaho students, a sudden and dramatic end to a 2-year murder case.
And Mr. Kohberger, you understand that by entering the guilty plea in this case, you would be giving up your right to appeal?
Yes.
As part of a plea deal Kohberger struck with prosecutors, the 30-year-old former criminal justice student will not face the death penalty. Instead, he'll spend the rest of his life in prison for murdering Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin in an off-campus home in November of 2022.
How do you plead guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
The victims were stabbed multiple times, and the coroner said some had defensive wounds. Kohberger's guilty plea is a complete about-face by the defense, who for months had argued he was innocent.
He was never innocent. I don't know about that. I'll leave it right there. But yeah, so what do y'all think? Do y'all think in a case like this, you should be able to plea out to get life? Because this to me, this seems like the judge is against death penalty. So he's like being an activist in his own way. I don't know what, maybe it's the judge. But something to me, I would say, nah, ain't gonna be no plea deal. Go ahead and go to trial. Spirit says, I think it's a waste of money to keep him alive 50 plus years. Yes, correct. I'm not trying to feed and clothe and house this dude 50 plus years. Nah, man. I told y'all, take him out back. Hey, where's Christy Nome when you need her? Where is Christy Nome when you need her? She'll do it. Hey, man, she'll do it for a Louis bag. Or get that bag got stolen, replaced. And it's fine. Because people like that need to go ahead, man. Okay, I got another heavy topic, then I move on, I promise. Okay, the firefighters in the ambush. Okay, so these are the 2 gentlemen who were killed. All right, and you have Battalion Chief Frank Harwood of Northern Lakes Fire Department and Coeur d'Alene Fire Department Battalion Chief John Morrison. Okay, so two battalion chiefs in the area, Yeah, man, this one was really crazy because y'all know my dad was a firefighter. I knew like the battalion chiefs, all of them, Sid and all of them. I knew the chief of police, the fire chief, the big chief. My dad was a captain, so I knew a lot of guys like this. I'd have been to the station and been on the truck, all of that. Yeah, so this was really crazy, man. And again, certain parts of the country, what they're going to do, if you go to a dangerous area or area where it might be a little bit, if you got a car that's a little sketchy, they might send police out there. In Virginia, they would send the police out there first, or y'all would go together. It wouldn't just be the fire department by themselves, because sometimes you got firebugs. And the firebugs, of course, y'all know, maybe you don't, guys that like to set fire, arsonists, people that just pyromaniacs, they used to call them back in the day, firebugs. And this guy that did this was probably a firebug because he was crazy. That's just a mentally ill person, the firebug. Okay, now this is the guy, the male who did this. You can see the pictures right here. Okay, now look, let me ask you a question. Does he look like he might be transgender? Does he appear to be transgender? That's what it looks like to me. And haven't we seen this before? Haven't we seen a lot of these trans people go off of the edge and kill people? You see, this is why we say, hey, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, you're not really 15 years old and a girl when you're born a boy. Maybe you just might be going through some mental issues. Maybe you might have a mental health disorder. Just maybe. And rather than playing into this, we should give you some help. Because when you don't get help, you might just want to be looking like femboy, whatever. Okay, you might just want to do that, but you also might want to go over the edge and do something to somebody or yourself. You know, they got a high rate of hurting themselves because they're crazy, because they have a mental illness. At one point, it was considered to be a mental illness, but now it's become normalized, so it's fine. And whenever anybody wants to just crash out who looks like this, they don't make the connection. The LGBTs do not want to make the connection, and the liberals don't want to make it. So we can just keep seeing it happen over and over again, and don't nobody want to point out the obvious. Don't nobody want to point out the obvious? Come on. Come on. So here's a tribute, or I'm not sure exactly what to call it, but we got the police out there. Check it out. So yeah, shout out to the police out there. Shout out to the fire out there. Yeah, man. When that kind of thing happens, man, when they want to attack police and fire, it's all bad.
Townspeople.
All right, so we got people in the town paying tribute, paying respects.
People have come out. They've brought their American flags to show their honor and respect for the fallen. Looks like both police.
So yeah, shout out to the fire trucks. Shout out to the police. Shout out to all the people in that town. Again, I think we starting to realize that people got mental illnesses, and we need to just call it for what it was. Call it for what it was. And they want to say that the guy that did this was, he liked guns and all kind of, they want to say he was a MAGA or something like this. But ultimately, we see the guy's face. He's just crazy. Now, to lighten it up a little bit, I know those some heavy topics right there. Let's go to Alligator Alcatraz. Now, some people don't like this, but I love it. Hey, you know what? We hold people accountable in this country. You can't just do whatever you want here and not get held accountable. If I do something illegal, I'm going to go to court. I probably would get locked up. So if you have illegal aliens here, I mean, at a certain point, you got to get up out of here. If I want to go be an illegal alien, let's say in Mexico or China or something like that. All right, well, look, good luck with that. Good luck with that. If I'm on a train somewhere, they're going to pull me over, single me out because I'm black. They're going to think I'm Haitian, trying to move drugs. Hey, where's your visa? You don't got it? Well, come with me. And y'all might not see me no more. Y'all might not see me ever again. But here is Alligator Alcatraz. You got Trump and my main man DeSantis out there talking about it. Let's go ahead and get full screen and let's let it rock. I did slide down the pole at the fire station, humongous shift. I did. Yep.
This is we're offering up our National Guard and other folks in Florida to be deputized to be immigration judges. We're working with the Department of Justice for the approvals. I'm sure Pam will approve. But then I'll have a National Guard judge advocate here. Someone has a notice to appear. Biden would tell them to come back in 3 years and appear. Now you'll be able to appear in like a day or two. So they're not going to be detained, hopefully, for all that long. We'll have people here in this facility that can make, it's a bureaucracy. The president's got to deal with the bureaucracy. Now that Supreme Court ruling was good because that's going to allow him to be able to exercise Article 2 the way founders intended, but you still have bureaucracy. So we want to cut through that so that we have an efficient operation between Florida and DHS to get the removal of these illegals done.
There we go. So right on. Shout out to my main man DeSantis. He's a great governor. Great governor. What do y'all think? Do y'all think we should, not we, do y'all think they in Florida should go ahead and let his wife become the governor after he's done? Or should it be Byron Donalds? What do y'all think? Y'all let me know. Because if you get his wife, I think it'll be a continuation of him. If you get Byron Donalds, he may go in a different direction. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, now here is Trump and Kristi Noem inside of Alligator Alcatraz. Let's hear a little bit from our president. Loving the hat, Gulf of America.
I think our viewers at home should note that this is air-conditioned facility, yes, so if any of the news claims are keeping them out in the hot, humid South Florida, that is wrong. It's probably 62 degrees here, to be honest. Or 72.
Hey, yep. Biden wanted me in here, okay? He wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here. That son of a bitch.
I think our viewers at home should note that this is air.
So yeah, air-conditioned, nice facility. They're talking about, concentration camp. It's like, concentration camp. Have you ever seen a concentration camp? That's not what this is. Here's one from Kristi Noem talking about Alligator Alcatraz.
These are deranged individuals that other countries released out of their prisons, out of their mental institutions, and sent them to America to roam on our streets and perpetuate violence against our citizens. President Trump is just trying to follow through on what he promised the American people, and that's to get the worst of this worst out of this country so that they can raise their children in safety and apply the law equally to everyone, bring justice back to America, secure our border, but also get these dangerous criminals out. And I'm just so proud of him. This facility down in Florida is what I think should be the model for every single state. Go out there and help us partner to provide an opportunity to detain these individuals, to process them under due process, and get them out of our country as fast as possible. These kind of partnerships can happen everywhere. We just need governors and leaders to step up and do their jobs.
There we go. So again, shout out Kristi Noem. Hey man, Kristi Noem, I like her a lot. Keep her around. Keep her around the federales. President, no, not quite, but cabinet member, yes, for sure. Absolutely. Shout out to her. All right. Now we got a little bit more. Now this was a crazy story about one of these so-called migrants that want to try to come over to the country illegally. Excuse me. But this was a crazy story about what one of the migrants was doing on the way out of the country. Check it out.
The other day I was talking to some marshals that have been partnering with ICE. They said that they had detained a cannibal and put him on a plane to take him home. And while they had him in his seat, he started to eat himself. And they had to get him off and get him medical attention. These are the kind of deranged individuals that are on our streets in America that we're trying to target and get out of our country because they are so deranged they don't belong here. And they shouldn't be walking the streets with our children. And they shouldn't be living in the communities with our families who just want to grow up, go to job, raise their children to grow up and get a job and to live the American dream. The other day I was talking to...
Exactly. 100% correct. Right on. But what would you do? Like, okay, you minding your business, tweety-dee-dee-dee, walking around, all of a sudden, migrant dude, no English. He's just chomping on his arm like it's a chicken wing. Like, just chomping on the arm like it's a chicken wing. It's like, what do you do with this kind of person? oh, let's let him stay here. We want your hold on. Listen, man, no, I don't want him. I don't want him here. Why would I want him here? He probably was eating his arm in the country that he came from before he came here. And they said, look, we don't want this arm eating dude in our country. Send him to America. Let them deal with him. Now we say, you know what? Check it out. Thank you for the offer, but no, thank you. We're good. Y'all go ahead, take him back. We're good. We don't want the arm eater. Okay. We want your good, hardworking people to come here legally. We don't want your arm eater to come here illegally. All right. We're going to return right back to sender. I don't know where you came from, bro, but it don't even matter. I don't care. You could have came from Europe, Africa, Asia, Antarctica, Mars, the ocean. So what? Go back. Go back. And a lot of your liberals talking about, oh, how could you be so heartless? Heartless? I'm not trying to be on the bus with Mr. Arm Eater. And I don't think you want to be on there either. Now, speaking about the conditions, take a look. This is the Alligator Alcatraz inside. All right, let me turn the sound down because it's just the noise of the facility. But you can see this was built in 8 days out there in the Florida Everglades. It looks nice. The flooring looks beautiful. The actual cells, whatever you want to call them, the bunks look nice. Everything is clean, well organized, brand new. Okay, the roofing structure looks nice. It's air conditioning there. They got it cold, freezing. You might need a jacket in there. You're not just out there sweltering. You good. But check it out, though. If you try to escape into the country, well, look, them gators out there waiting on you. So I suggest you don't do that. It's okay. Once you're in the facility, we'll get you out of the country, get you a free flight back, and it's okay. You'll be taken care of perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. It'll be all right. You would live there. Looks better than my apartment. And that's what I'm saying. These are beautiful conditions. Beautiful conditions. You got Americans that are in the penitentiary or even in the jail living worse than this. So how is this somehow a hill to die on for the left talking about these are bad conditions? Oh, how could they be so heartless? Now, oh, here's some good pictures. Remember, this right here was under Mr. Barack Obama. Remember that? Remember the tenfold, all of that kind of stuff? That was under Mr. Barack Obama. Okay, you can see this is an older facility. The floor is all cracked. Okay. Now, compare that to Alligator Alcatraz, brand new facility. Built by the best Florida men within a 500-mile radius. World says if gators get them, we won't have to pay for funerals. There'll be nothing left. It's a problem that solves itself, okay? If you just stay put, you'll be just fine. We'll get you right back to where you got to be. Don't worry about it. If you try to be some type of escape artist, you want to be Houdini, all right. Well, look, alligators, they don't like magicians and stuff like this. So what you're going to do is end up getting ate up, and it's going to be over with. And that's fine. If you want to try to escape here, that's fine. Go ahead. But I don't recommend it for your sake, but for my sake, it's great. So go ahead, knock yourself out. Now here is Alligator Alcatraz from the sky. Let's check this out. See right there, very well built. I like it. I like the way that everything is. Yeah, so you out there in the Everglades, you kind of far from.
On a scheduling note, tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida to attend the opening of a new illegal alien detention center located at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport alongside Secretary Kristi Noem, Governor Ron DeSantis, Congressman Byron Donalds, and other state and local leaders. We hope to see many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz. There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain. The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens. This is an efficient and low-cost way to help carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history. We are truly We are truly coming off a historic week of President Trump racking up win after win on behalf of the American people.
All right, there you go. So shout out to our amazing White House Press Secretary, Caroline Leavitt. Round of applause for her. Hey, she does a great job all the time. So shout out Caroline Leavitt. A big upgrade from Karine Jean-Pierre, who will try to run for a higher office or do something else, obviously, because if they would have ran Karine Jean-Pierre rather than Kamala, maybe they would have had a better chance, because at least Karine Jean-Pierre could put two words together, but I'm not quite sure that she was born in America, so that probably wouldn't have worked, but she's going to do something else. Was she born in America, Karine Jean-Pierre? She was not. She was born in Martinique, which is in what? Oh, that's just an island. Okay. Yeah, Martinique. It's between Dominica and St. Lucia. She Caribbean. Anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, now, this lady right here, Anna Giertelli, hopefully I got your name right. She is out there by the Alligator Alcatraz, and she can prove that, yes, there are alligators in the water. Check it out. See that boy right there? He right there. So listen, if you want to escape the Alligator Alcatraz, my man right here, Hubert is prepared. Try something funny. He ready for you. Him and his cousins, the family members, they on deck. So, hey, there you go. Shout out to Hubert. Thank you to Jaleisha, who says, ABL, my mom started watching you. She clicks on your video shorts. Hey, you guys are enjoying some of those shorts, especially on Facebook. You guys like the shorts, so I'll keep those going for you. But yeah, I'm not getting in that water. If I'm in Alligator Alcatraz, hey man, just give me to my plane and go back to my country, and I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke at all. All right, now, this person does not like people who may be wearing this person does not like those who may be wearing Alligator Alcatraz merch. All right, she's not liking people that's wearing the merch, talking about Alligator Alcatraz like it's a good thing. All right, let's watch.
I will be in jail if I see somebody wearing an Alligator Alcatraz shirt or any type of merch. It is a concentration camp. And using that language matters. It is a concentration camp, and we're acting like it's an amusement park. It's disgusting. I will be in.
Okay, now, I showed y'all some pictures of what Barack Obama had during his term and what we have now. If what we have now, this AC controlled, beautifully made facility, is a concentration camp, then what was it under Barack Obama? Why did anybody say anything like that back then? Oh, why bringing up Obama? Because he did the exact same thing that Trump is doing, but y'all are calling it differently. That's why we bringing it up. It's not a concentration camp. It's a facility. It holds you in there, and then once your ticket comes up, when it's time for you to take off and go to the airport or whatever to go back to your country, they fly you back for free, and that's it. Why is that a bad thing? And you know what you could do to avoid going to the so-called concentration camp? Don't come here illegally. Stay in your home country. Why is that so hard to understand? I don't get it. And also, a lot of Americans who get locked up are living in worse conditions than that so-called concentration camp. So people are weird, man. Shout out to her. You'll be okay. It's going to be all right. Now, here's Joy Reid. She's still doing her thing. She got her podcast. Are y'all watching the Joy Reid show? Are y'all checking the podcast out? All right, here she is talking about Alligator Alcatraz. Let's see what she has to say.
I had to forget about him, but Ron DeSantis is still governor of Florida. He took the Comfy Couch hosts on a tour of the concentration camp that he's building in Florida in order to round up brown people and throw them in a camp because he doesn't want them in Florida. Surprise, surprise, the economy of Florida is going to be severely harmed by rounding up brown people who, by the way, all over this country, Latinos are afraid to go to work. Anybody who is perceived or looks Latino is afraid to go to work. I know people who are not to forget about him, but
okay, so there's a lot there. But this whole thing, the narrative is it's the Latinos, it's your neighbors, it's a fruit picker, a bed maker. Barack Obama said that famously. It's like that, as if, first of all, we don't have legal residents of this country who are Hispanic, who have nothing to worry about. Like you're acting like anybody who is Hispanic is here illegally, and they're hiding because they're illegal. That's what you're acting like. You're also acting like nobody else gets deported. A lot of Haitians, that was a big thing. A lot of them still getting deported. Cubans, you got some Europeans, but they come over here. Russians, because weren't y'all xenophobic against Russians on mainstream media for a while? I ain't forget about that. Some of them are going to get deported too. The Chinese, a lot of them, they've been getting deported because what they do sometimes is coming here illegally to work in the massage parlors, and there be human trafficking going on. You find a Chinese in a shipping container. So it's not just the Hispanics that work at the hotel. That's your stereotypical mind. It's the entire world coming here illegally. Like that dude, what was that, Colombia, the dude that got locked up from Colombia, the dude from Tunisia or some. It's the whole world. Every country on planet Earth coming here illegally. And again, it's not a concentration camp. It's a facility. Basically, it's an airport terminal, and once your flight is ready to take off, you out of there. Don't worry about it. Okay, this is Democrat Florida State Senator Lori Berman talking about Alligator Alcatraz. All righty, let's hear what she has to say.
Forget that these are individuals, and these are our friends and our neighbors. These are people who are picking our crops, building our buildings, making sure that we have hospitality workers in the state. They forget that these.
Okay, so again, these it's just that you're picking up these illegals. They're all Hispanic, and all you could do if you're Hispanic is just day labor type stuff. That's the idea. That's what they think of them and also us. Well, the blacks, they were the ones doing the day labor and stuff like that. But then when we ended slavery, we had to replace them. We brought in the Chinese with the railroads. Now we got the Hispanics to do all these labor jobs that the blacks used to do when they were enslaved. So that's all that they are good for. That's all that they are. And there's no other illegal aliens that exist. That's their mentality. But then they tell you that you're the racist. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, we got a little bit of doom and gloom from CNN. Hey, check it out. If we defund USAID, 14 million people will die. There go that the world is falling, that the sky's falling. The same rhetoric they had during COVID-19, which scared normies to go out there and get this brand new flu shot that nobody ever tested before. And of course, there were side effects. But hey, it's whatever. Let's watch some of this.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is hailing the end of USAID, the nation's largest foreign aid agency, even as a new analysis finds that its closure could contribute to some 14 million deaths in the next 5 years. Secretary of
14 million people going to die. I mean, is it going to be a ticker at the bottom of the screen? Are you going to put a USAID death ticker like you did with COVID? Is that what you're going to do, CNN? Mainstream media sucks so bad. I hate them. I really do. I really, really do. All right. But yeah, do y'all think that 14 million people are going to die because there's no more USAID? Because here's something about USAID, though. A lot of that money was just getting pocketed by people. It was a lot of fraud going on. Straight up fraud going on. It wasn't really doing what they said it was going to do. That's really the bottom line. It was a bunch of waste. And also, some of that money was interfering with local people and how they lived. 14 million. Are you buying it? No Mac. Oh, no, my D says more like 14 million, less jobs. Yeah, exactly. All right. So let's keep on rocking and rolling here. Now we got people going back to the immigration piece, people who are appreciative of ICE efforts. They're appreciative of what ICE is doing out there in the street because they understand what the immigration issue, the migrant crisis did to them. Let's watch.
Man, keep doing your job, bro. It done got out of control. Keep doing your job. Woo, man, y'all are not playing today, huh? Woo. Oh, they getting them. They getting them. They getting them all out of here. They got the Home Depot set up. Look. It's on Avenue, the Home Depot. They getting them. They locking them down.
I love it. I love it because the people want this. The people said it's gotten out of control. Enough's enough. They driving crazy all over the place. They're getting into violent confrontations. We're battling for resources. They're at the Home Depot piled up deep. It's causing the issue. Listen, if I'm out there trying to run a lawn care service or I'm a contractor, I'm doing one of these jobs that the so-called migrants might want to do or what they may get hired to do. Now I'm having a squabble with them over these resources. I'm squabbling over the resources. It's just, it is causing issues in the job market, out there on the street. Some of the crime is going up. It's causing the problem. We saw it out there in Ohio with the Haitians. It was the same thing. It's like, look, we're trying to do what's best for ourselves as Americans. When the others come in, at least they got to come legally, because when they don't, they just do whatever they want, and it's going to mess us up as a result. So yeah, shout out to him. Hey, at the Home Depot, getting it. Trump. All right, let me go to this one right here. Oh, here's a good one. This is a good one. And this is what I want to see more of. Check it out.
In 1 week, I have seen in my city black men power washing parking lots, black men doing roofing work, black men doing lawn services around businesses in my city. Things are starting to look like the old days again. Black Man Thoughts 2.0, and I'm out. Peace.
Right on. And the thing about it is, some are going to try to say, oh, well, blacks, we don't want to go back to the field. We don't want to go back to doing these jobs. Says who? Says who? Listen, if you got some of these statistics are out of control, you're talking about 1 out of every 4 black people are on some kind of government assistance. 1 out of every 3 black men will go to prison in their lifetime. 1 out of every 3 will go to prison. You got some really bad numbers as far as economics in the community. If I'm 18, 19, 20, I'm young, I'm broke, I have no job, why wouldn't I want to go do a manual job and get some money? Even if I'm older, why wouldn't I want to do that if I can? Why wouldn't I want to be a pressure washer? Why wouldn't I want to work on houses? Why wouldn't I want to work on cars? Why wouldn't I want to do that? Why is that a bad thing? And at a certain point, it goes beyond black, white, Puerto Rican, and candy stripe. It's about all Americans. Why wouldn't any American want to do those jobs? The jobs got to get done. Okay, we could do that job and get money and take care of ourselves. What's the issue? The issue with the migrants is when they're allowed into the country, that just brings wages down. So when we want to go do that work, it becomes difficult because we cannot compete with these third world prices. Everything is brought down to their level. So we could live like them in their home country, but this ain't their home country. This is America. This is the USA. So yeah, get them out of the way. We could come in. Americans of any color could come in and go set the market and do the work. It's very simple. Somebody got to do it. That's right. The old veteran gamer. Somebody got to do it. Why not? Listen, if it's me, oh my goodness. If I'm 18-year-old ABL right now, oh my goodness. Now in today's market, I'd be killing the restaurant industry. I'd be killing it. I'd make money hand over fist. Hand over, man, I'd be getting, man, when I was washing dishes back in 02 to 07, I was making at the start $6.25 an hour. I ended at $8 an hour. for after 5 years. And I could have done more. I could have been doing other stuff, but I knew that I was not going to be in this industry for much longer. I knew I was going to do my own thing, be a graphic designer, have my own business, which is what I did. But if I really wanted to make money right now, man, please, I'd be in there line cooking. I'd be doing everything in a restaurant. Talking about something, oh, we got to have the migrants restaurant work. Really? When I was working at the restaurant, it was nobody from no other country in there. It was all just Americans. So why can't we actually do that? We did it for years. It was never nobody in there that was an illegal alien. Nobody that didn't speak no English. It was all just Americans. And you know what happens? When you allow the illegal aliens in at all, they take over and they only have other people that are just like them hired. Other Hispanics, and a lot of times it's other illegal aliens. And if it's a different group of illegal aliens, Africans, Europeans, whatever, they're going to hire their own people and not you. And again, that's where we come in conflict with them battling for resources. And that's part of the reason why they got to go. They got to get up out here. Absolutely. All right. Now, what are you going to do if you see this on the subway? All right. First of all, New York City subway, I'm good, man, because I've heard some horror stories, and I've seen some stuff that I wish I could unsee in New York City. So I'm not really trying to be that close to y'all on the subway. That's just not what I'm trying to do. But what do you do if you see this on a subway car? Check it out. All right, so look, you see the Palestinian flag. Listen, hold on. Let me get a good shot of the flag. There you go. You see the Palestinian flag. Hey, ICE. Yeah, I'm on a train in Brooklyn. Yeah, I'm at this particular place. It's a bunch of these illegal aliens up here. They got a Palestinian flag. They chanting in some random language I don't understand. They don't look Mexican, but they don't look. I don't know what they are. Yo, come get them, okay? Come get them. This might be Zoran Mondami's family. They coming for family reunion with the Palestinian. Come get them and lock them up. Alligator Alcatraz, wherever you got to send them, just send them. ASAP. My thing is, look, man, if you're going to be in a new country, why are you flying the flag of your old country? I would never go to China and be flying the American flag. For what? I'm in China. Why would I do that? I fly my flag in my country. You fly your flag in your country, not mine. And if you're going to fly yours, you better have mine right next to it. It can't just be, okay, we're just go back over there then. I think it's insulting when people do stuff like that. And I would not do it in your country. I think it's a lack of respect. You don't even care about where you at. I don't like that. Yeah, not a big fan. Is it not New York City subway? Okay, well, hey, I'm wrong. So yeah, shout out to them. shout out to them. Now, did I show this already? I might have shown this already. Where the truck driver's got a street. Okay, if you're going to be a truck driver, you got to speak English. If you're going to be a truck driver on the road, you need to speak English and also understand how to read, because you have road signs. And I don't want to see these guys up in the mountains. Oh my gosh. Hopefully they understand how to drive well. Hopefully they're skilled drivers, because the mountain driving is a little bit different. The runaway ramps and all that kind of stuff, they might not be ready for that. But let's hear this about English being required to be a truck driver.
One driver in particular explained that truck driving to him is more than just a job, but rather a way of life he's always enjoyed. But he now understands the urgent need for him to learn English if he is to continue in this line of work.
No, they say a long time ago is that I needed to speak in English, but and today is more necessary from the.
Yeah, so hey, and the reason why there's so many of these foreign truck drivers is because Washington D.C. had the bright idea to flood the industry to bring the cost of goods down. Because if you're able to make the trucking cheaper by flooding it with these illegals, then the cost of goods goes down. It's way to enact deflation. But the flip side is you got more dangerous drivers on the road. They can't speak English. They can't read at all. They can't read road signs. So you're going to have more vehicle fatalities. You're going to have a lot more regular truckers who are struggling to make a living. Again, you're going to drive our wages down to be like where they came from. And I think maybe they probably came here looking for the opposite of that. But hey, whatever. You know, hey, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so Zamdani, Mamdani, that name, man, Zoran Mamdani, you couldn't just get like, hey, man, I don't know, man, I'm racist maybe, but yo, okay, Zoran Mamdani, how about Zach, Zach Miller? I don't know, man, give me a regular name, man. Hey, my governor, Bill Lee, that's the kind of name I like. Bill, Dave, Ted, something like that, man. One syllable, easy to remember. Not this type of, you know, you sound like you about to ride on the magic carpet, bro. But anyway, here he is talking about we don't need millionaires. Let's take a look.
Next question about grocery stores. Some executives, including one of the top grocery stores owners, billionaires, threatening to shut down his supermarket in the city. John Catsimatidis, who runs Gristedes grocery chain, you're probably very familiar with him. He said this on Election Day, quote, "If the city of New York is going socialist, I will definitely close or sell or move or franchise the Gristedes locations." In order to run New York City successfully, as mayor, do you not need the support of a billionaire businessman like John Catsimatidis?
I don't know if I need his support specifically, but I want to make clear that my vision for this city is a vision for every single New Yorker, including business leaders across the city. And the reason I say that is that my proposals, even the ones to increase the top corporate tax rate of New York to match that of New Jersey, are ones that would also benefit those business leaders. Because when I have conversations with them, what I also hear is the just how expensive this city is.
So things are expensive, and what you're going to do is raise taxes to those who are talking about how expensive things are. Make it make sense. So spending more money is going to cause the problem with things being expensive. Maybe he thinks if he just takes all the rich people's money, richer than he is, because let's be clear, he's a silver spoon baby. His mom is a movie director. She directed the movie with, what was that? It was Queen of Catway with Lupita Nyong'o and David Oyelowo. And he was in that movie, by the way. He's an actor, of course. His mom's a director. He's an actor. And his mom also directed Kama Sutra. And that movie got banned in India, where his parents are from, because it was too graphic and vulgar. Okay, so your mom is a millionaire. Your dad's, I think, a physicist or something like this. You come from a silver spoon family. But that's okay. Your level of success is fine. Anything above you, though, you want to try to tax.
Is preventing them from attracting and retaining the talent they need to grow their business. And ultimately, I'm looking forward to having those meetings, having those sit-downs to make clear why this vision would benefit all.
We went on your website and realized there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
He's racist. There's no reason for you to mention the race of the neighborhoods. If you say you want to tax richer neighborhoods, just say that. Richer and whiter, it sounds like you got an axe to grind and you racist toward white people. Now, what I don't want is a racist in office. Thank God I don't live in New York, because I would not want to have this guy breathing down my neck in November. So thank God I don't live there. But racism is racism. I don't care who it's against. Black, white, Puerto Rican, and candy stripe. You shouldn't be trying to target people because of their race to take money from them. That's not legal in this country.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed.
It's not driven by race, but you mentioned race. There was a need to mention race. I mean, there's all kind of ways to describe these neighborhoods. You could have said neighborhoods that are wealthy and white, and they got picket fences, and they got Everybody got a spare pony in their backyard. You could have said all kind of things to describe the neighborhood, but you use race because you're racist. But again, we don't do that in this country, at least not legally.
We've seen time and again that this is a property tax system that is inequitable. It's one that actually Eric Adams ran on saying that he would change in the first 100 days. He's since sought to defend it and lost at every juncture in court.
And I understand you're saying we're simply describing the types of neighborhoods that would see these increase in taxes. And yet, by invoking race, do you run the risk of potentially alienating key constituents?
I think I'm just naming things as they are. And ultimately, the thing that motivates me in this is to create a system of fairness. It is not to work backwards from a racial assessment of neighborhoods or our city. Rather, it's to ensure that we actually have an equal playing field. And right now, what we see with the property tax system is one that is overtaxing a number of New Yorkers and undertaxing others, and an inability of political will to resolve that.
So no plans to change that language on your website?
The focus here is to actually ensure a fair property tax system. And
this dude's terrible, man. So look, Mom Donnie, and that's what you want to vote for come November. That's not really going to be a good look. That's not going to be a good pick. All right. I'll keep rocking and rolling here. What do y'all think? Good person to vote for, not a good person? How about Eric Adams? What do I think about Eric Adams? Would he be a better pick? I've been talking about Eric Adams for a while. I say, yo, get him the MAGA hat. I think Eric Adams is perfect because he's right in the center of what they were looking for. I think Andrew Cuomo might be a little bit too much for them because of the sexual assault allegations, and he had already been there for a long time. He kind of old, kind of long in the tooth, governor 3 times. It's like, okay, we want somebody new. And you don't want necessarily Curtis Sliwa, although I think he'd be a good candidate he'd be a good person to have as a mayor, but he's a conservative guy. They may see him as a vigilante, although that's not really what it is. But I'm thinking about their perspective in New York, how these liberals think. So the Republican might be a little bit too far to the right in their eyes. Andrew Cuomo, a little bit too old, been there a long time, whatever. Super rich, out of touch. Eric Adams already the mayor. Let him get reelected. He will be better than Zoran for sure. Yeah, moderate Democrat, exactly. Now, look, it's New York. If I had it my way, you have a clone of President Trump in there, but that's not living in reality. That's not how reality works. But we'll see how the whole thing goes. All right, but if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff that'll help me out tremendously. Cuomo and Sliwa should both get behind Eric Adams. I agree. They should both get out there, campaign for him. They should bring their respective audiences to him because he has the best chance of being able to succeed against Zoran out of all of them. So I think that should be their focus rather than anything else. Yeah, I think that should most certainly be their focus. How do I say his name? I've been saying it all kind of ways. Silva. Hold on. Let me look it up. Sliwa. Okay, Sliwa. So Sliwa is cool, but he's too French. Yeah. Brickyard says NYC mostly foreigners anyways. Well, the reason why that's happening in a place like New York is because there's so many old people. Like, you're not replenishing the city with young people born there. And of course, it's open to everybody. Everybody wants to be in the Big Apple. So that's just kind of what's going on. Big cities are like that. I got the best chance. No, not me. Not in New York City. No, not in New York City. All right. I'm going to read some of your comments and then I'm going to keep rocking and rolling here. All right. So look, this right here is what it could be like if the dude Zamdami was able to win. This right here is Cuba, okay? I'm going to turn the sound off because it's just background noise. Matter of fact, hold on. Actually, this guy's talking. Let me just let him talk. I thought it was just like a tour.
As you can see, guys, here the infrastructure is not so good. All the buildings, look, they're old. I think that's the main way, guys. That's the main boulevard where all the shops are and shit. That's a nice part of Havana. Me, I'm staying in the barrio. Wow, man, look at these buildings behind me, guys. These look like the classic old back in the 40s, 50s buildings. And that was behind me, the blue one, look like the Soviet buildings. So it's a crazy combination. Now you, oh my God, now you see the real Cuba. I mean, look at these houses, guys, man.
If you get communists in there, it'll look just like this. Because communism is too restrictive on what humans can actually do and how they can push society forward. When you just are like sticking to government regulations, government does not produce civilizations. All government can do is maintain it through the will of the people. But it can't be them trying to control it and micromanage. It can't come from the top down. It's got to come from the bottom up. In my humble opinion, Tatum 32 says Cuba is horrible, driving 1950s cars. I mean, the cars are nice cars if they were kept in good condition, which they're not necessarily in Cuba, because how can you really maintain a car that's that old without the proper way to be able to do it? Especially if you're using that every day and you're dependent upon that to go to work and do any kind of jobs. Yeah, you can't deal with the outside. You got all this old stuff. You're going to be stuck in the past. All you're going to have access to is whatever you had back then. Yeah, them cars still running. Some of them cars still running barely, barely. You know, and the only reason why they are running at all is because they have no other choice. Okay, they have no other choice. They can't do anything else. That goes at communism, like a choice. That's part of the reason why I love this country so much, is because we get the freedom to do things that others don't have. Yeah, Cubans are very skinny now, no food. Exactly. There was a picture I saw of a storefront. You guys probably have seen this before. Let me see if I can find it right quick before I get to the next video. But the guy was in front of his storefront, and he had somewhat of a variety of foods right behind him. And that was the before picture. And the after, he was in front of that same storefront, and he had a lot fewer products, pretty much no products, and he was a lot skinnier. And that's kind of how it works. The food, that's going to be first to go, or it'll go eventually. And now you're going to have starvation. You're going to have famine. It's always like that. North Korea, it happened. It might still be happening in North Korea. Some of the escapees of North Korea talk about how they were eating dirt sandwiches, rodents, whatever they can get their hands on, because there was just no food. And that always happens with communism. It never, ever, ever fails. And everybody thinks I could do it better than the next guy or the last guy. I'll be better. But they never are better. It always ends the exact same way. Now, this guy's talking about New Jersey no longer being for the middle class. I kind of want to see this and see what he's talking about.
New Jersey is no longer for the middle class. One of the hardest truths that I've realized in the last, honestly, 2 years is that this state is becoming so unaffordable for so many. And although people are leaving in droves, the reality is there's 2-3+ people waiting for their home. And I'm going to show you how a comment like this is so true. And if you don't know, my name's John. I own a real estate company here in New Jersey, and I've been in real estate since 19 years old for over 15 years now. And I honestly hate the fact of how expensive it has gotten just to buy a home here in New Jersey. However, it's a result of many things, and most importantly, it's from decades of not building enough homes, especially many of the single-family homes that many millennials want to buy now. So the truth is, if you do make $100,000 a year or less, there is a huge part of New Jersey that is just completely unattainable for you. This entire area, basically anything bordering Manhattan, all the way down the shore, even west into like Somerset County, those counties over there, is mostly unattainable.
Now, I got a question. Is it so expensive because that's just New York City people that's all the New York City money coming out to New Jersey. Is that what's going on? Y'all let me know, because Jersey, I don't know a lot about. All I know is the dude, what's that? Not Pauly Shore, the dude from Jersey Shore. Pauly Shore, Jersey Shore, I don't know, man, whatever. All I know is the dude with the hair. But is that the reason why it's expensive, or is it something else?
Make $100,000. And the areas in which that $100,000 salary may actually get you a house is all the way southwest New Jersey, even parts of southern New Jersey, although it's honestly getting really expensive down there as well, and possibly in northwest when you border Pennsylvania up here.
All right, there you go. So what do y'all think about Jersey? Why is it so expensive? What's happening? What's going on? Is it because of New York City? Is it because of something else? Y'all let me know. And I did find the picture I was looking for. This picture says that it's Venezuela, but I'm not quite sure. It doesn't really matter because it's the same thing. Okay, I found two of them. This says the progression of the Cuban bodega. Okay, so you can see 1958, how abundant it looks. You got all kind of fresh food and everything. Nicely stocked store. Now, this might not be 2024. It might be a different time, but you can see how it's different. It's kind of like that. That might not be the same store, but this one, this is what I was talking about. Okay. This is the picture I was talking about specifically. You can see on the left, you got the storefront or this little, tienda, whatever it is. You got all kind of products in the back. And the guy got a little bit of belly. Okay, he's chilling. But that same place, years later, the shelves are bare, and he lost 50, 60 pounds because there's no food. And it always happens like that. It's always like that. Then the famines happen and all kind of stuff, and then we talk about, well, maybe communism don't really work. Maybe it doesn't really work. Okay, now this person is 26 years old. She makes $70,000, and she was able to buy a house. All right, so I don't want it to be doom and gloom talking about, well, you can't do anything if you don't make X amount of money. Let's see what she did.
I recently bought a house as a 26-year-old in Austin, Texas, and this is what it cost me. I wanted to take advantage of first-time homebuyer benefits, so I decided to pay 3% for a down payment instead of 20%. My goal is to pay as little as possible upfront, so ideally $20,000 to $30,000 including closing costs. Now for the numbers, the price of the house I bought was $321,000. After my offer was accepted, I paid the earnest money deposit, which is 1% of the cost, plus $100 for option money. The inspection cost me $475, and I paid $109 for a specialized AC inspection since the first inspector told us that it wasn't working. Closing costs were $13,727, but I negotiated for $9,400 in seller's concessions, plus the title company paid some of their fees. I still have to pay the remaining 2% of the deposit, but my lender gave me a first-time homebuyer grant of $4,500. I also had some taxes paid back to me, so at closing I only had to pay about $2,000. In total, I ended up paying about $6,000 out of pocket in order to get my house, so I was pretty happy with that.
Wow, that's crazy. $6,000. Hey, I don't know what type of magic she then worked up. Shout out to her lender. Hey, I had a good lender too. Shout out to my man Monik. Monik was a great lender, Indian dude, on point. He called me. Hello, Mr. Logan. How are you? Yeah, I got some good news for you. Just pay this amount of money, and then we're good to go. That wasn't even his accent. He was cool though. Shout out to Monik. But her lender, I don't know what in the world kind of magic they were doing. $6,000 on a home that's $321,000. That is a great, amazing deal. Amazing deal. You guys are funny. I ain't gonna read some of your comments. Somebody did their homework. Yes, I didn't even know nothing about no first, but that's probably just depending upon the state where you live in. I'm not sure where that is. I can't. Somebody had a little map right there on the back of the wall where she at. I can't really tell where that is, but that's probably not California. Probably somewhere closer to where I'm at in the South, I would assume, but maybe I'm wrong. George S. says there is incentive for first-time home buyers that people don't know about. 6,000 is awesome. Absolutely. Summer Sky says that it doesn't. It's okay. Summer Sky, you don't think it's a good deal? Why? That's a great deal. If your home costs $321,000 and all you got to do is pay $6,000 to get the keys, that's a very good deal. Because let's do a little bit of quick math. I mean, even if you got an FHA loan of 3.5%, I think FHA. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this math right quick. What was that 321,000? So you should pay about about 10,000 for 3.5% down on the FHA loan. If she was able to get the keys for 6,000, she did great. That's like 4,000 less than what it should be just for the FHA loan of 3.5%. All right. Anyway, this person is saying how much they spend on monthly bills as a 25-year-old married couple. So shout out to all the youngins out there. Let's talk about what you guys are spending on things. And again, I'm not sure where this is. Maybe she'll say it in the video.
About to literally tell you what we spend on a monthly basis as a 25-year-old married couple living in Greenville, South Carolina. First and foremost, this is the worst one every single month. Our mortgage is $3,400. Our power bill is typically around $160. Water bill is around $85 a month. We usually spend around $600 on groceries, $350 on eating out, $250 on gas for our car. Car insurance is $314, Wi-Fi is $60, we pay $38 for pet insurance, $60 for life insurance, and $14 for our gas bill in our house. Month of June so far, we have spent $817 on like miscellaneous things. That includes Amazon, Target, Nuuly, like all the things that are not necessities. We also put a percentage of our paychecks into a savings brokerage account. Both contribute to a 401k. My husband contributes to a Roth IRA, and then we also tithe to our church. So all of our absolute necessary bills add up to monthly cost of $5,331. So I would love to know what y'all think, if that's high or lower than you expected. I feel like cost of living here is pretty average. It's not high, but it's also not super, super low.
All right, so what do y'all think? Is that a good deal, bad deal? Y'all let me know. And then as far as a previous video about the young lady that had the house for $6,000 down on $321,000, you guys said that's Austin, Texas, which is even better because Austin, Texas, I don't know when she got that, but Austin, Texas is a pretty hot market. As far as I know, the prices are going to be a lot more than that usually. You're talking about California Junior, baby California out there in Austin, so that's a really good deal for her. All right, so $5,000, and that's for her and her husband. They're both 25 years old, married couple. They spend so much miscellaneous. Okay, pays for everything available. What's her income? Well, I mean, I guess that matters as well. But even if you have a certain income to where you can afford it, you want to keep your expenses low as possible. Okay, now this dude is over in Iran, and he's sharing what the gas prices are in Iran. Now, this could change if they try to get funny over there and we try to get involved in any kind of intervention, but let's just see what it is right now.
Here in Iran, gas is insanely cheap. This is the second cheapest country in the world for fuel. Only after Venezuela, of course, where I think it might be free. 1 liter of fuel is 3 cents. So a gallon is maybe like 11 cents. Just hard to even wrap your brain around. You can imagine what that would be like in the US. Obviously, that's not where our pricing is, but pretty damn cool to see.
11 cents for a gallon of gas in Iran. Now, of course, they got their own gas that's right there. I mean, they got their own like oil, petroleum. They got all of that right there. So I get it. Just like I said, Venezuela, of course, they got the gas right there. They got the oil right there. They're a big exporter. So it'll make sense why their gas is so cheap. So if you can't see this, it says 1 liter is 3 cents. A tank is 32.16 liters. So the entire tank is 97 cents to go from E to F, less than $1.
So here in Iran.
So there we go. All righty, there we go. Now, again, that could change if, there's any kind of conflict, anybody wanting to go bombing again or something like this. less than $1 for your whole tank. Over here in the US, most of the world, not that way. And California, even worse. Even worse, once you get to the more affluent areas, oh, they're going to bust you cleaning your head for the gas. Cleaning your head. How's the roads, LOL? Probably nice. At least like Tehran, stuff like this, the main area is probably nice. And you know, the crazy part is they talk about taxes on gas and stuff like this in a place like California. And then the promise is, okay, we're going to improve the roads with this money. All right, if you're going to improve the roads with the money, then why am I seeing the ugliest streets, potholes, garbage? I don't know, man. It's weird. Now, this is going to be a Chinese car. And what is your opinion about Chinese cars? There's a big tariff on them to keep cars like this out of the USA. Because if they came into the country, it'd be a big shift over to them. Now, I'm not going to say that these cars are built well, that they got great craftsmanship. Some of them are dangerous. When you're talking about the EVs especially, there was a ship in the Pacific that had a big fire because a bunch of the EVs from China had caught on fire. And it was only a portion of the ship. It wasn't the whole thing. They had the EVs in the portion of the ship, and the rest were just internal combustion vehicles from China. They were going from China to Mexico. And in the middle of them going, the EVs had caught on fire, and it was a whole big mess. Now, this might not be an EV, but if you got EVs catching on fire spontaneously out in the middle of the water, what is the build quality of their ICE vehicles, internal combustion engine? Let's see some of this so they can show off one of their cars. And you let me know, would you get one?
Now I know why America put more tariffs on Chinese products.
And for the record, I got American made. I got Ford. Okay, my sticker right at my F-150 said Dearborn, Michigan. So I got 2 Fords. Shout out to the foreigns, shout out to the Toyotas, all that kind of good stuff. Okay. But Chinese cars, let's watch this.
I'm going to show you something around 27K. The base model is even cheaper, 19K. So this thing is also from Chery with 2.0 turbo 4-cylinder engine. In total, 250 horsepower. It is all-wheel drive. Wow, all these sharp lines, I think it's pretty cool. Watch this. I think it is useless design. Wow, look at the mechanism inside. But it looks cool. It is actually your fuel tank. See? So what do you guys think? I think it's truly maker style design. Alright, let's have a look at the interior. The ground clearance is pretty high. Alright, the seat,
it's small. It got a smaller interior. I could tell from right here it got a smaller interior. But they small over there in China, so it makes sense. But that's a very small interior.
Alright, not too soft. Okay. It is
you guys, Temu Motors is crazy.
5 seats SUV. Wow. On the dashboard, you have a very big screen. Autopass, not much surprise. So, what do you guys think?
Hold on. Can I see the gear shift? And I don't know. A Chinese car, I'm good. That gear shift, what is that? I'm cool on that. What do y'all think? Is that a yay, a nay? Would you buy a Chinese car? Again, that was $27,000 for that. Base model, $19,000. What's your verdict? Are you going to stick to your Americans? Are you going to stick to your Kia, Honda, your Japanese vehicles? From my point of view, if it's not American, I want Japanese from Japan, and that's it. That's how I am. Before I started getting Fords, I always had Toyota. Always. And I want Toyota to be made in Japan. If not, I'm going to just get American, period. All right, so hold on. Daytona says, rip off Land Rover Defender 110 H-No. Aren't many gear shifts and newer cars. Yeah, it's a bunch of buttons and stuff like this. I like to get a good old-fashioned gear shift. Even if it's automatic, that's fine. But don't give me these buttons and whatnot. I want to be able to shift it and feel kind of where I'm going. Yeah, I'd rather have that than the buttons and stuff. Will not purchase a Chinese car, Japanese for me. After 50,000 miles, it'd be dead. The quality of the vehicles, that's the thing. You see, there's a bunch of these Chinese products, but do you trust it to last? if you're just getting some of these cheap plastic items that are not necessarily meant to last or be durable, it's fine. But once you get in things you got to be on the road with and your life is on the line, that's something else. No, that's something else. I would not necessarily want China to make my airplanes that I'm flying in. Okay. I want stuff to be made right here in America. Ron Jones says ABL lights crank windows. I mean, it don't got to be that serious. Like, I ain't talking about we got to be cranking up windows and, I don't got to go out front and then crank my engine up and hop in the car and then hit the you ain't got to do all that. But just give me the gear shift so I can just shift from P to D. That's fine. I'm not asking for much at all. Ghost Riff said, wait till it stalls in rush hour traffic. The Waymos do that. I saw a Waymo do that right in the middle of the road, just chilling like it didn't know what's going on. Matter of fact, hold on. This, I think, might have been in L.A., where the Waymo just got stuck right there. There's no sound on the video, but you see what's going on. The Waymo, if you guys don't know, these are driverless vehicles. You could use them like an Uber, I suppose. This is in Los Angeles. The Waymo just got stuck, got confused, and blocked the intersection. Okay, and then my thing is, I'm going to just drive around, but if I drive around, is it going to get, is like a horse? Is it going to get spooked and then drive into me? I don't know what's going on. Furthermore, what if you're the passenger in there and you just stuck in the middle of the intersection? What do? You on the phone? Yo, man, I'm stuck in the Waymo right in the middle of the intersection right here in Los Angeles. Okay, people are they're honking at me. I can't do nothing. I don't like that. Give me a human driver. Human driver all day long. That's what I want. I don't want no driverless. A human. Okay. Phoenix says, I would not get into a vehicle that is driven by a robot. Yeah, I'm cool on that. Give me a manual, actual physical person in the vehicle. Okay, Cowboy 742 says those autonomous cars use the current chipset. Way more problems. Way more accidents. That's pretty much what's going on. And it's not just like a one-time thing. We've seen some of the Waymos. One Waymo did like some donut. The guy was inside the parking lot and the Waymo was doing donuts. He in there talking about something. I can't stop doing donuts. Come do something. Now, this right here, I think might have been Atlanta. This is Atlanta. Same thing with the Waymo. But in Atlanta, they don't care. They're going to drive ahead. Yeah, one thing about ATL, if you in the way, then they're going to get around you. They ain't going to just wait for you to figure it out. So now they're going to keep going. They will keep going. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. I just saw that beat you. Waymo and ATL, lots of problems. Yes. Yeah, I am good. I am good. All right. But shout out to you guys. I got super chats and then I'm going to get to some calls. The number to call, 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. All right. Make a super chats right quick. And I got a few of them here. Thank you to Gregatron who says, it's time for the ABL show. Thank you to Michael Guest who says, well, I guess the question of did he do it? Has been answered. Did he something? Hold on. Have I put WhatsApp on my system? No. Not on my PC. And I can't do that right now because we're in the middle of the show. But if you want to call in that way, maybe I'll look into it after the show is over with. Send me an email to remind me so I don't forget, all right? Thank you to Gregatron who says, Happy White History Month, ABL. Thank you to Fish who says, is it time to buy Johnson & Johnson stock? Yes. They be all going to go all the way up on a Tuesday. Thank you to Michael Crislow who says, the feds were looking for evidence linking Puff to the Tupac murder but came up with nothing. I mean, if they just now trying to solve that everybody knew, the streets, like, I don't know, man, the feds are weird. The government sucks, man. Like, a lot of these cases, we already knew about long before they were exposed. It's like, why y'all just now trying to find something out? You just now locking up Keefe D for the Tupac murders when everybody knew that Baby Lane killed him back in 1997 or not 1996 when that happened, really? Why is anybody like now trying to bring these old cases up that everybody already knew about way back then? Decade of Apple says, is the U.S. justice system racist? Diddy fans, BLM. Apple also says, should Diddy do time? Big rocks, little rocks. Nah, he shouldn't do no time because they didn't get him with anything. Like, my thing is, listen, if you're going to say that I did something, all right, go ahead and prove it in court. If you can't prove it in court, then what are we talking about? Don't see that right there. I don't want to reward bad prosecution and shaky cases. I don't want to reward weak cases. If you got a case, bring it, convict a person, and then that's it. Okay, that's the way the system should work. You can't have this weak case fail and get bailed out by some antiquated Jim Crow law from 1910, the Mann Act, which was designed at first to stop guys from evading anti-miscegenation laws. If you guys don't know, it was against the law to have sex with, to cohabitate with, or be married to a person of a different race in many states up until 1967. Okay? So what guys would do is one or two things. And both things were seen as a problem to the government back then. What they would do is, and usually it's black men with white women. That was a problem because they were trying to protect white women specifically. They said it was white slavery. It was called white slavery back then. 20th century white slavery was what it was called in the early 1900s. But anyway, what black guys would do and back then was, let's say if they're in Maryland where you have anti-miscegenation laws, where they would go from Maryland to Pennsylvania to avoid it. Now you can't do that because now you're violating the Mann Act because you went over there to engage in inappropriate and immoral behavior. That was the definition back in 1910. 1986, they amended it to talk about human trafficking specifically. But why do we need a law about crossing state lines for human trafficking when human trafficking is already a violation? If it's human trafficking, it shouldn't matter about crossing state lines or not. Prosecute somebody who human trafficking. The Mann Act was a loophole to get guys who were trying to avoid anti-miscegenation laws. That's why it existed. It shouldn't be on the books, in my humble opinion. Prostitution is already a crime. It has a penalty, which ain't nothing. Human trafficking has a penalty. It's already a crime. Kimar Abrego Garcia was human trafficking because he was moving migrants from the border into the interior of the USA. He was transporting them that way. That's human trafficking. If you got a container full of Chinese illegal aliens and you send them to a massage parlor, that's human trafficking. You and your girlfriend having sex parties in LA and then Star Island, Miami is not that. It's not that. And if it is, then a bunch of regular normies are going to get locked up for doing the exact same thing. All y'all going on freak off cruises to Jamaica. I know about that. I know what y'all be doing. All of y'all going to the penitentiary. I'm not trying to interrupt that. I'm not a fan of it. I know what y'all doing. I'm on my business. But you shouldn't get locked up for that. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Now, Jeffrey Epstein, on the other hand, was dealing with minors. That's a whole different ball of wax. And it was like some actual kidnapping, like a whole different thing. Whole different thing. So yeah, and shout out to Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson got locked up for violating the Mann Act because back then, back in the early 1910s, it was jealousy because he was the first black heavyweight boxing champion and he dealt with white women. So what happened was they said that he had, he was linked to a prostitute, a white prostitute, and he was married to a white woman. So they were able to get him on the Mann Act for the prostitute because he went from one place to another to have sex with her. That's what he got locked up for. That's just what it was. Okay. And Trump pardoned him posthumously in 2018. So if Puff gets locked up for this, Trump will pardon him. And you can just know you heard it right here first. Thank you to the white man for sending 10 ABL memberships. I appreciate you for that, boss. Thank you to Jaleisha Salvatore, who says, when is The View going to finally be canceled? Hey, people love The View. They really do. That's what they really into. That's the Karen factory right there. That's Karen TV. Thank you to Timothy Beard, who says gas in Illinois is still $3.69. We see no relief. Hey man, out where I'm at, we got gas. It's $2.50, $2.50 right here, East Tennessee. East Tennessee, $2.50. We good over here. I got gas the other day. It was cheaper than that. It was like $2.30 something. So yeah, I'm good. I don't got. I mean, down here, I'm good. And you know what? And you know what? Tennessee is racist, and we got the Klan out here still. They got the hoods on. I be seeing them at Publix in front. You know, they be doing a lot. So it's still racist down here. They still burning. They burning crosses at McDonald's and all of that, man. So yeah, don't come down here, man. Stay in California. Stay out there, man, where it's really progressive and safe. You don't gotta worry about nobody busting in your house and taking all your stuff in a nice area in LA. Oops. Well, maybe you do, but trust me, California is better than here. So don't come here. So yeah, and your $4 gas, stay out there with that. Royal Squishy says $2.20 in West Tennessee. There we go. Big O says $6 here. Oh my goodness. Where do you live, Big O, where you have gas for $6? Is that per gallon? $6? Ron Jones says $4.25 in NorCal. Bean says, I just filled up, $2.67. Very good. That's in Missouri. Right on. Right on. Hold on. Let me see. I'm reading some of these right here. Michael says $4.09 in Sacramento. Wow. Matt says $4.39 in Tacoma, Washington. Summer Sky says $4.69 in my city. Good grief. Good grief, man. Nah, $2.50. And it's been like that for a long time, too. For quite a while, it's been $2.50. It ain't really been, you know, too much over the top. Miami area, $2.89. Hey, man, gotta love Florida, right? Gotta love Florida. Miami is a pretty, you know, big place, pretty important city, and gas is still pretty cheap there. $2.89. $2.70 in Kentucky, $2.89 Austin, Texas. Okay, Austin. $2.70 Long Island, $5.50 in Canada. Wow, that's crazy. So I guess y'all Canadians, y'all paying the arm and the leg. We got free healthcare. We got free this, free that. I can't tell. Y'all paying for it in a different kind of way. I get beat in the head when you go to the gas station. That's how you pay for all this stuff. Excuse me. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Alrighty. Let's get some calls here. The number to call, 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. Let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling here. Let me turn that on, and then we are good to go. But yeah, shout out to all the southern states. Shout out to all the states that don't have these ridiculous prices for gasoline, because I don't see how y'all survive, man. California places like that, man, it's just way too much. Just entirely too much. Summer Sky says, and like you said, the roads are still torn up. Yeah, roads still bad, but they keep telling us, well, the reason why we have these big taxes and the expensive gasoline and expensive everything is because we got to fix the roads, my roads. That's what they always say. Oh, you're against taxes. You don't want my roads to get fixed. And then the roads look like Mad Max at best. Looking like, you know, you might as well just put gravel down at a certain point. The potholes are big as sinkholes. You drive your car over a pothole, you might fall through the actual ground. But yet I'm paying $8 for a gallon of gas. Make it make sense. And they say that $6 of the $8 is going toward the roads. Well, what are we doing for the roads? Putting pride flags on the ground? What are we actually doing? 706-406-3287. Y'all go ahead and give me a ring on the phone. Hold on. Paul says, anyone from Cali heard $8 per gallon? Nah. I might have just been saying $8, but have you actually heard $8 from somebody out there? That's crazy. Virginia low is $2.74. Yeah, Virginia, unfortunately, taken over by a lot of your leftists up there in the northern part of the state. Unfortunately, that's just kind of what that is. So I'm seeing kind of like $4 in California. That's kind of what it looks like for the most part. Florida got the best roads. Florida does have good roads. I've been on those roads in a few different parts of the state. Pretty good roads. We got good roads out here in Tennessee as well. Kentucky has pretty good roads, except for that, like Jellicoe, that mountain right there, that is kind of messed up. But they were working on that as I was on it. West Virginia has really good roads as well. Charleston, some of them roads are a little bit worn down, but once you kind of like off of the city areas and out a little bit, the roads are very nice. The roads are very nice. And a lot of that is just policy of your local area, because I've seen, like in Virginia, we got, it's kind of like all one city, but they're separate cities. Kind of like the way LA is. You be on one block, it's saying this, on the other block, it's L this. You don't know where you at from block to block. It's somewhat like that in Virginia. Virginia Beach and Norfolk are side by side. So you could be driving Virginia Beach Boulevard. 1 minute you're in Norfolk, the next you're in Virginia Beach. But when you're in the interstate, you're able to tell how they spend their money, because the Norfolk part of 264, the interstate, from what I remember, maybe still to this day, is always beat up on the Norfolk section. Once you go to the Virginia Beach section, right there at 264 Newtown Road, once you're about to go that way, it all of a sudden becomes beautiful. It's like, oh, okay, Virginia Beach is spending money on the road and Norfolk is not. You can see the difference. It's policy. That's really the long and short. So if your roads are not right, you got to ask, who do you have in office who's going to actually take care of the roads? They say they're collecting money to help, but are they really? Are they putting it in their pocket? Is it being spent on other things that shouldn't be spent on, like migrants? Hold on. Jana Alvarez says $5.39 a gallon in California in a cheap city, high desert, Antelope Valley. Wow. Up there, out kind of like far away, not even Los Angeles, San Francisco, out far away, $5.39, high desert. Hey, man, you guys must love it out there, because if it's me and I didn't really love where I was at, I'll be out of there 100%. All right, caller, who am I speaking to? Hello, can you hear me, caller?
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
Hey, I completely love your show. I love your show. I love how truly Republican you are. So I really, really love your show. And I completely agree with your statement about the Diddy case. It's 100% accurate.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, so what I see on this case is like the prosecution is going after Diddy based on all the media buzz, but no real evidence, you know? There's no evidence, there's only, all I've seen is just this baby oil, you know, baby oil, or this baby oil buzz, baby oil on TikTok, on trends, but not real, like, evidence. There's no evidence about this case.
I agree with you. It's like all these things they want to put out there that's cool for social media, cool for clicks and whatnot, but when it comes to actually prosecuting somebody and locking them up, they rely on the evidence they needed to push forward.
Exactly, and that's what I really don't understand about going, like, the prosecution going after in a federal level, going after Diddy with no evidence, just on media buzz. It's never seen before. It's like something. It's how can you go against Diddy or anybody just with media buzz? And this is what we are dealing today with. Somebody see TikToks and whatever, and everybody just go after somebody with no evidence. All I've seen of this case is baby oil. That's it. And kinky sex. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think your statement is completely accurate because lost and also I see that most people not really understand how the justice system works. It's not like you put somebody in a trial with no evidence. You need evidence, and you need evidence to lock somebody up. It's not like somebody's going to jail just because you don't have real evidence. You cannot put somebody in jail just based on TikTok videos.
Exactly. That's the main thing. And people sometimes get caught up in the TikTok videos, caught up on social media, and they think, well, since my YouTuber friend thinks that he's going to get locked up, that means it's going to happen. But once you actually in there as a juror, listening to the prosecution, being explained what you could convict him of, it's different. It's not the same thing as being on TikTok or somewhere else.
Exactly, yeah, and all the responsibilities that a juror and everybody in the prosecution and even the defendant and all the legal assistant, all just think if they convict this guy based on nothing. This will create a complete different justice system for everybody, because then everybody is guilty because everybody is doing kinky sex right now, So then you're guilty for kinky sex. That's just unheard of.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying earlier, because it just boiled down to sex parties. Now, if that's going to be enough to lock somebody up, well, a lot of people, and people will be shocked, regular people, next door neighbors, all doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, and then there's justice for nobody, And so I'm really glad with this. It's not like you have to defend Diddy. I don't care about Diddy. I don't care about, just care about the justice system, that we have a justice system that is fair, and that's the whole point of this, because, yeah, maybe Diddy have some kinky sex, and he has some, and of course, he have the domestic violence, which is, of course, he's guilty for, but when it comes to the major cases, when it comes to the major charges, there was absolutely nothing on evidence to put this guy in jail for this kind of crimes.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and I don't understand how the prosecution can go after somebody with nothing, because they knew from the very beginning that they have nothing, So it's crazy that this is just laziness from these people,
Right. Well, the prosecutor is James Comey's daughter.
No, that explains.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. So I completely agree with your point, because when I see the comments and I see all the videos and all the media pundits and everybody, I think they're not getting like the point of view that you are stating. It's more aligned with what the real case is, because everybody is just caught up with all the buzz and everything. But hey, guys, there's no evidence, there's nothing. So there's no case from the get go. There's no case for this.
Right on, man. 100%.
Yeah. So shout out to you, and you have a great show, and thank you, man, for your job, for continuing to do this every day, and you have a great show. So thank you.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, great caller. That's what I'm saying. It's just, hey, man, listen, we got to get evidence. We're talking about criminal justice. You got to have evidence, and if you don't have it, then you don't have much of anything. 860, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, it's F&A Ranger Xbox. How you doing, brother?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Oh, man, did you hear where a woman, one of the public officials out in Arizona, got arrested, being charged, went to prison, 63-year-old woman, for corruption out there in Arizona? Related to stealing government funds to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. AOC's under investigation. Dr. Fauci, it's no surprise that he paid the Chinese to develop a bioweapon that he released on America. How you doing, Anthony?
Oh, it's all good, man. Can't complain.
Anyway, I just want to say, keep up the good work. Awesome job. God bless America. And I've been thinking about running for Congress up here in this crazy state of Connecticut. But I got to find somebody to be my treasurer. I'm going to work on that. I'll let you know, because I've got nothing better to do with my time now. So you have a good one. I'll keep you informed on that. You take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to my man for the call. Definitely certainly appreciate him. Hey, if you want to run, go ahead and pardon my coughing. I got a little bit of a cold, but it's nothing. I'll be over the cold in a day. I'll be back like 100% tomorrow. It's nothing. Normally when I get a cold or something like that, 3 days, I'm back to normal. And I'm at day number 3, so I should be straight tomorrow. But the number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. Yeah, the whole thing with Fauci, man, the Fauci ouchie, I was never. From the beginning, when they said a flu shot, I'm like, oh no. When they said head cold, man, listen, anything, it don't matter. I was never going to get the vaccine, ever. I never had a flu shot. Why would I get that? Why would I need that? Why would I want that? It's not going to help. It's not going to do nothing. Yeah, so this dude Fauci, man, and the mainstream media too, because they played into it, scaring people, talking about you don't get this, everybody gonna die, fear-mongering. And then when people died of the injuries of the actual vaccine, oh, they don't want to say nothing then. Everybody want to be quiet then. You ever had a cold in 12 years? Well, hey, man, shout out to you. Must be nice. That Cali cough. Hey, man, when I'm in LAX, people in the bathroom, I mean, y'all are nasty. Some of y'all people, man, not you guys watching because you guys don't live like that, but some of your comrades in California are disgusting. My man was in the bathroom hawking up a lung. I only want to imitate his cough because it was nasty. All in the, I was like, bro, take all that outside, man. You trying to start a car in the actual airport bathroom. I'm not trying to get carbon monoxide poisoning or whatever you got when your engine start up. Man, all of that, y'all be on the airplane, hitting number 2, blowing the tube up. Y'all, man, I don't know. Y'all got to kind of get it together, man, because some of your, I don't know what kind of stuff you got going on, but I'm cool, man. I am cool. Yeah, I got to get a little bit more immunity to y'all. I feel like I'm one of these Native Americans that y'all introduced smallpox to. I was like, man, I was chilling, just minding my business. All of a sudden, here you come with all this coughing and hacking and snorting and snotting, and now I'm sick. 509, you don't know who I'm speaking to.
Anthony.
Yes?
Anthony. Sorry. That's my little joke. Remember the person who used to call you all the time that would always say, Anthony.
Oh, yeah, I remember, yeah.
Yeah, she was in an Alabama jail or something like that. Was she trans?
I have no idea. I don't know who that was.
I know. Sorry about that. My phone is not working very well, and so I'm not cut out, but I talked to Sheree in your chat, but I've what are we going to talk about? The Idaho killings up here with all the Metzger and the white supremacists up here, or what are we going to talk about?
Hey man, whatever's on your mind, whatever is the most hot button issue on your mind, you can just let me know.
What my hot button issues are always the mainstream media and how they manipulate and they spin everything. Crying out loud. And you're the best at deciphering and navigating the mainstream media lies and all that stuff. And you're the best. Anyways, so I do thank you very much for doing that. Last time I called in when my best friend Dadius passed away. He just Brexited. He was from Cleveland. He got the F out of Cleveland. That's the Scott Adams thing. Because of, the crap that was going on in Cleveland back when he was younger. But he came over here to North Idaho, and he played ball in Southern Idaho, and he did a really good job. And anyways, my point was, have you covered anything about the Idaho killings up here? Because that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I spoke on that earlier. You're talking about Kohberger, right?
No, not Kohberger. The other one, the firefighters that were ambushed.
I covered that as well. Yes, I did. And then I showed the guy. Now, the guy to me that they say did this looks like he might be a transgender or something like this. And I was pointing toward the potential for him to be mentally ill. And a good sign of somebody being mentally ill is they are a male thinking they're female. Rather than us trying to play into that, we should just say, hey, that person is dealing with mental illness. Get them some help rather than just playing into it.
Understandable. Yep. No, I was just thinking about the spin about the North Idaho thing. I remember reading. Actually, I read it in Portland. I read both the civil and the criminal case against Alligator Alcatraz. You remember him? The old Metzger, the Butler, the Aryan Nation. White Supremes.
I don't remember that one. I don't remember that one. Maybe if I kind of go back and look at it, I remember, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
No, I read them, but the White Supremes over here at Hayden Lake and all those, the North Idaho, we always got a bad reputation about being white supremacists, white supremes. That's what they call it. I put it in the chat, Sheree and stuff. But I think they've been totally obliterated in North Idaho. So hopefully that narrative has gone the way of the flipping, I don't know, the dinosaurs or whatever.
Hopefully so, man.
You know what I mean.
But thank you for your call, man. I definitely appreciate you.
Just don't forget, rest in peace, your father.
Right on, man.
Rest in peace, my mother. Same day, December 25th, 20. Remember?
Right on, man. Thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
Singing with the Angels. Okay. Love you, bud. All right.
All right,
bye-bye.
now. All right. Shout out to the caller and shout out to you guys for rocking and rolling with me. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. Do not be afraid to call. It is all good. It's just you and I. Anybody else watching? All righty. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. What do y'all think about Puff? You think you're going to get a lot of time in the penitentiary? A little teeny bit of time? Hey, man. Time served. Let me go home. I read just now that they said the reason or potential reason why Puff was denied bail is because the Mann Act says that the Mann Act statute says you can't get out on bail. Of course not, because they want to punish you. Listen, man, if not for the Mann Act, that old law, that Jim Crow law, if not for that, he would have beat it completely, which would have been very embarrassing. This outcome is still embarrassing for the feds, but if he was to beat it completely, oh my goodness, that would have been awful for the feds. Great for Puff Daddy, but bad for the feds. 773 on the line I'm speaking to.
Hey, ABL, this is Andy.
All right, man, what's happening?
Or I always wanted to say, I wanted to call because I'm from Chicago. I always want to say, hey, it's your retired Chicago police officer. But big respect to that guy. He used to be a regular caller, so. But anyway, just a little memory for that guy. But yeah, so just real quick, I wanted to chime in about P. Diddy. I understand the jury gets to decide in the end. So even if he did break the law and the jury wants to, let him go, That's their prerogative. They get to do that, which is great. That's part of America. But I do think he definitely was up to some really no good stuff. I mean, we've talked about it before. Everybody's heard about it, but he got off, like Jim Comey's daughter being the prosecutor on this case. She was on all the high profile cases with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. She's on all these cases. Obviously, there was some kind of cover up going on. He got off easy. And who knows, like, who was talking to the jurors. They use AI to pick jurors, I've heard. So they have all these systems in place to try to cover up what was going on. So P. Diddy, he was in deep. I just want to say, like, that's my opinion. He got off. They came to his house. What did they do right away? They took all these digital things out of his house, right? All the video recording equipment, all the stuff from his safe and everything. Jeffrey Epstein's safe, all the stuff from there just disappeared in the FBI. It's just a cover-up. So that's my opinion. If anybody wants to disagree, that's fine. But P. Diddy is in deep with the deep state, or whoever you want to say. And I will be surprised if he spends any time in jail at all.
Right, likewise.
So, yeah, just putting it out there because, I was kind of surprised that he was found guilty for anything. But obviously, like, he was in with all the Hollywood and all that stuff. So, but I do think overall, just stepping back from it all, 30,000-foot view, this is a good thing because we're talking about it, right? Like, everybody's talking about things that were always happening behind the scenes in the dark, and nobody was talking about it. Now we're talking about it. So I do think it's progress. I do think it's good. So we'll see what happens. I hope something more comes out of this. Maybe he was singing in prison. Maybe they're figuring stuff out about him. But I do think they need to get rid of Jim Comey's daughter in the DOJ.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's go to 859. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yo, ABL, how's it going? This is very libertarian friend here. What's up? And I am kind of disappointed of our justice system. P. Diddy getting off. I think later on, I think the feds might have something on him. And what it sounds like to me, there's going to be some extra charges that comes to the assault of Cassie, since there is video evidence of it. And granted, I think the whole Cassie, I want to chime in, I think the whole Cassie thing was that there's no such thing as a perfect victim. I mean, that's the honest with you. People have, when they're going through PTSD or trauma, they tend to forget or misplace memory on certain things, and stuff happens, and she wasn't exactly the best. But I will say one thing. He's going to find his day in court, and it's not going to be the end of it. I tell you one thing. I know the justice system I feel like it's fit. Some people might feel like it's failed. I feel like there's going to be some other stuff coming around, like lawsuits and stuff like that. What's your opinion on it, ABL?
I mean, it'll be more lawsuits. There's already a lot more lawsuits right now because everybody wants some money. That's when all of this stuff started. The things that Puff is being accused of have been going on for a very long time, but now all of a sudden it's starting to come out because Cassie had came out and then she got $20 million. Once that amount was known to the public, okay, now I want some money too. It was a domino effect.
Yeah, and it makes the real victims look bad. And I will say, I mean, even if you may think Cassie's lying or you think this is BS, come on, there's legit evidence of him of P. Diddy throwing a Molotov cocktail and a Bugatti. It was a Mirage. I don't remember what car it was. It was a Lamborghini, I think. Yeah, it was a Lamborghini. I'm like, come on, man. And over some like jealous girlfriend stuff, boyfriend stuff, man, that's some silly stuff to me, you know.
Yeah, man, but see that they couldn't prove it because he didn't get found guilty of that. So my thing is, if you're the feds, you should have competent enough prosecution to make that charge land, stick, and get a conviction. The feds have a very high conviction rate, like 98.5%. So they know what they're doing. In this case, I don't think she knew what she was doing. I think that it was a weak case from the very beginning, because if it was strong enough, then they would have convicted him on it. But they didn't, because it was a weak case.
He probably will get convicted later on for something. It probably won't be for the sex trafficking stuff, but it would probably be with the assault or like maybe Lamborghini, because they still haven't signed. They signed, but my girl heard the case. So they found the fingerprints. They don't know. They can't find they lost those fingerprints through the mail, so they can't find the fingerprints. So there's no telling who caused that fire on that Lamborghini.
Ain't nobody gonna. He won't get convicted of that because they already had the opportunity to do that and they didn't. So they're not going to be able to go back. Like it ain't. It's over. It's over.
Well, thank you very much for taking my call, ABL. I very much appreciate it. And peace out. He may cross our fingers. Hopefully, he gets like maybe 10 years, but maybe not. See ya.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Ain't gonna be no 10 years. You better go home right now. As soon as October, they said that sentencing is in October. That's gonna be his release date. And then by that time, he's already done like 9 months as far as pre-trial. That was done. Like, you're gonna hold him. They're just trying to get him. They're trying to get him at least like a year. Because, okay, you're talking about October, right? What's it? July? So July, September. July, August, September. So 3 more months. It'd be 12. So that'd be like a year. Okay, we got him a year in prison or in a detention, and we're gonna get him 20 years of probation. We're gonna do NBA YoungBoy. This was weak from the beginning, from the start. And the feds should know better. These are not incompetent people, or at least they shouldn't be. You got the best of the best in the feds. We ain't talking about some little podunk town. We talking about New York City. The feds in New York City, they can't get this. If the feds in New York can't close the case, then how is anybody? Y'all have access to unlimited resources. The federal government, the taxpayers, all the taxpayers of the nation, and you can't get this done? That's terrible. James Comey's daughter, I don't know what's going on, but this is a mess. This is a whole big mess, man. For real. Yeah, the feds, man. Normally, the feds used to strike fear in the heart of people. When you hear, oh, man, the feds got them. It was pretty much you were doomed. Saying that feds was on you was like saying that you about to meet the Grim Reaper. Hey, just go ahead and sign a plea deal. You about to get life in the penitentiary. Nope, we go ahead and go to trial and beat it. Yeah, man, that was terrible. That's terrible. So, hey, man, next time people want to try to get somebody locked up, man, just come with a case. Make it stick. Come with a case and make it stick. That's all that I would ask. It's very simple. And it can't be this whole, oh, let's get them on the Mann Act and nah, that cop out. I wish the judge would. If the judge tried to go overboard with the sentencing, 10 years, 15, he'll get pardoned by Trump. Guarantee you. He'll get pardoned by Trump. So the most he'll do, if he gets some kind of crazy football number from the judge, the most he'll do is the next however long he has until Trump pardons him, which would be probably 2028. And we are in 2025, so 3 more years, less than 3 years, 2.5 more years, at best. At best. That's what it'll get at best. Hold on. Critical. I'm gonna just say critical says the man guilty of getting a discount on bulk baby oil, huge savings. Right on. Samantha says, man, the feds had Diddy crying on the floor today. They got to try probation, but I ain't seeing it. We shall see. Yeah, man, it ain't really going to be nothing. That's pretty much a wrap. I don't see nothing coming from that other than what happened. I'm telling you, because Trump already pardoned Jack Johnson, who did the exact same thing back in the early 1900s. It was a Mann Act violation. He'll pardon him. And Jack Johnson only got a year in prison back then. And Jack Johnson had fled. Jack Johnson went to the Philippines and was out there for a while and then came back and did a year in prison. So he fled before getting sentenced, before getting locked up, and he still only did a year. So if Puff does not flee and he stays put and he gets sentenced, it shouldn't be no more than a year, in my humble opinion. And matter of fact, let's do this. Find another time where someone was convicted of the Mann Act. When's the last time that was even invoked? And what did that person get as a sentence? Partner party in the future? Hey, you never know. You never know. That might be what happens. But the number to call, 706-406-3287. I got a little bit more time. Midnight Toker says, I vote Trump for a third term. Nah, we ain't doing that. We got 2 term limits. You know, shout out to the Orange Man. I'm with him 100%, usually. But you got 2 terms, my man. And then we got to move on to the next individual. I think that's going to be that's going to be JD Vance. Although I like Marco Rubio. How about JD Vance with Rubio as a vice president? That might work out pretty well. All right. Let me see. Shy, hopefully I got your name right. Shy says, but ABL Puff said Trump should be banished. Well, I don't know nothing about that. I'm going to take your word for it. But I bet you if Trump give Diddy a pardon, he ain't going to say that no more, would he? Same thing with Trump don't hold a grudge because remember, Snoop Dogg was Trump's biggest critic. Snoop Dogg put out a video with a toy gun shooting Trump in the head back when he came in 2016. Remember that? And then what does Trump do? Trump pardons Harry O, who was the guy who started Death Row Records, which is where Snoop got his start into the whole music industry. So after Trump did that, all of a sudden Snoop becomes his best friend. And then Snoop does the crypto ball alongside his cousin Ray J. If I'm not mistaken, it might have been Ray J there, but I know Snoop was there. Nelly, Snoop, all these guys were there. And then Snoop said, hey man, what's the problem? Y'all hating on me? He defended it. He wasn't even trying to attack Trump anymore. He did a whole 180. So Trump don't hold no grudges. He'll give Diddy a pardon. You'll see. You shall see. All right. Oh, yeah. And people talking about Elon and the third party, man. It's always people that say stuff like that. It's like, don't you understand that there's more than 2 parties in this country? There's not just 2 parties. There's 2 popular parties that control everything, but there's a lot more than 2 that exist. Like I said before, you got the Libertarian, the Green, there's all kind of other parties, but the 2 main ones, you got Libertarians. Rand Paul is in office, but he's just one person. What can he do differently? You know, what can he do differently? Probably not much. 603, you know, line, who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's James from New Hampshire. How you doing?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
As far as the Diddy thing goes, I just like to point out to everyone that he loved Trump, just like the rest of all the celebrities, you know, the View panel, everyone else. They all loved Trump before he came down the escalator. But Diddy works for the machine, just like Eminem and just like all these other guys. They have to get on and talk smack about Trump. So it'll be interesting to see what occurs after this is over. And the second thing I have for you, ABL, is I haven't been watching that long, but now everything that's happened with the Carmelo Anthony stuff and the $500,000, now they're asking for more money. What are your overall thoughts on that? And I'm going to hang up and listen. Thank you very much. Love the show.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, now as far as Carmelo Anthony, I was talking about this earlier. I think that their rep needs to come out and say exactly what they're going to spend the money on. Itemize your expenses, because if there's no explanation on what you need more money for, it sounds like you just wasted the money. Now, I've not seen any official sources that say that they wasted the money. I'm seeing YouTubers talk about it, but nobody officially saying it. So you got to just come out and be transparent and let the expenditures be known so there's not a narrative or rumors started. 215, you don't line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh wow, I didn't even think I was gonna get through like that.
You won, boss. What's happening?
All right, so ABL, I know this was like a minute ago, but I remember when you made that video on Kendrick Lamar and his Super Bowl performance, right? And I know this was a minute ago, but I remember you saying specifically, like months before that, almost like a year ago before that, there's a time to be an entertainer and a time to be an activist. And a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people who like Kendrick Lamar was trying to make the excuse for him, saying, oh, well, he wasn't trying to entertain, he was trying to wake people up. And I remember thinking about what you said. You said that's not the time and the place to do that.
Yeah, man, because you're at Super Bowl, you need to have something that people are going to be entertained by. They're not watching the halftime performance for some kind of civil rights speech, especially when they can't understand the speech. They don't understand what's going on. They have no idea what's happening. The music is not good. So they're just sitting there perplexed. And really, it just turned the station and not even hear you anyway. So it was really weird. If you're going to be having some kind of civil rights performance, do that in the proper setting, not in a halftime show. When people just want to hear good music, see a good show. That's it. That's all they want. They don't want anything else.
Exactly. They just want to vibe out and just be entertained.
That's it. That's all. And they want to be entertained in a way that's kind of simple, universal. That's why they always put people like, for a while at least back in the day, they would have Nickelback and Creed because it was easy listening. It wasn't too much into, rock and craziness, but it wasn't too soft. It was like right in the middle. Perfect for that kind of environment.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense because when a lot of YouTubers who were trying to defend, they say he wasn't trying to he wasn't trying to entertain. He only selected certain music to try to get people into their subconscious and try to wake people up. I said, you don't need music to do that. If you want to wake people up, start a podcast and just, do your own thing in the podcast and try to wake people up on there. But when you're out on stage, there's a time and a place just to entertain. It's like with those football players trying to be activists on the field, and it's just like, it's not a time and a place for that.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah. And like you said in the video, and last thing you said in the video, and I've been saying this for years, if you need music for life advice, you've got other issues to confront.
Exactly. Because if you're trying to search for the meaning of life in the popular rap song, you're looking in the wrong place, because these songs, a lot of it is just geared to get you to listen and generate some money off of the repetitive streams, or to push a certain message that may not be in your best interest. You are the consumer if you're listening to music. The music is not there to educate you. There's books that are available. There's ways to educate yourself, but a popular rap song on TikTok is not going to be it.
Yeah, and honestly, and there's a lot of ways I've educated myself, just either reading articles online, just reading certain little quotes, combined with a little bit of life advice and watching a video, then you have a good perception of what's going on and you'll get a good understanding of certain things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and thanks for taking my call, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, you have a good one.
Shout out to the caller. Yeah, man, it's time to be an activist, time to be an entertainer. Like, if I'm watching Super Bowl halftime, I'm not trying to sit there and watch you, listen to you talking about all this, Malcolm X, and I don't want to hear all that, man. Just give me a good show, something easy listening. Nickelback, man, just have them on the contract. Make a government. Y'all good at doing everything but creating good talent. How about this? When you want to groom somebody next, groom a good, easy listening rock band that I can listen to in the vehicle without having no extra kind of weird stuff involved. 734 online, who am I speaking to?
Hi, yes, it's Taisha from Michigan. So I just had two comments tonight. Regarding the whole Kendrick Lamar and Super Bowl performance, I felt the same way. And then, I didn't want to see all of a racial message at the Super Bowl halftime. Like, can we just, get a great show, and then you got on TikTok, and it's like all of these subliminal messages that you kind of got to weed through and pick through. I was just like, I'm just not with it. I didn't even watch it, or I didn't even rewatch it online. And then my second comment was, last week when you was talking about the lady in the sun, that was definitely a skit. I came across her page, and they do nothing but skits. Nothing but skits. So that was fake.
So what video was that?
The video when she was sitting on the bed about the EBT in the sun, said, "Oh, I just want to go to college," and she was like, "No, you don't go to college. You stay on Section 8." The Section 8 video.
Yeah. I kind of had a little suspicion. Like, it's so many of these people that just try to go viral with all these skits. So yeah, I'm not really surprised that was a skit. But people are crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely people like that in the real world, though. But I definitely just wanted to get back on just to let everybody know that was fake. And that was it. Have a great night, and thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, shout out to the caller. Yeah, some of these videos, I try to, look and see what's going on with them, because it's a lot of people that just put out content. Everybody trying to be a social media superstar, putting out completely ridiculous nonsense. Ridiculous nonsense, BS, rage bait all day long. Yeah, but shout out to Taisha for clearing that up. I appreciate it for sure. But yeah, Super Bowl halftime show, give me a good, easy listening, soft rock type of band. I'm good money. Anything beyond that, I don't know, man. A marching band, like how they had the inauguration, something like that would have been good. Because even if I'm not hearing the words, I can at least enjoy the music. I can enjoy the performance. If they're out there doing the dancing and all of that, that's fine. I would take that over whatever Kendrick Lamar was doing.
Good.
515 in the line. Who am I speaking to?
The words, I can enjoy the music. I can enjoy the performance.
I gotta shut this. Deborah.
All righty, what's happening?
I just wanted to let you know that, there's a bunch of fireworks going off here, and I wanted to let you know I was at a greenhouse and worked for a year and a half, and we planted seeds and things like that. And we had people from down south come up and also plant those seeds and plugs. We call them plugs. But I don't want to say the name of the place, but the place said, all right, let's see what you guys can do against them. Okay? So we're saying maybe migrants. And anyways, we beat them 27,500.
Okay.
For plugs.
All right.
So anything you could get in is very interesting. Because they were like, what are we doing here? There were 7 of us, and there was 13 of them. And we did a race with tractors and everything. Just planting 5 acres.
So it seems like you guys were better than these migrants who they say are better than Americans because Americans don't want to work. That's kind of what I'm hearing. Am I right about that?
Yes, sir. That's what I was trying to get at. I can't get my point across, but I was like, because I didn't understand what, they were like, all right, let's see what you guys, and then everybody was, papers are shuffling, and you know how it goes in the office and all the things. But they're like, these 7 people did, and we loved it because we were all team effort. Come on, let's go.
Right on.
Yep.
See, and that I think can be replicated all over the country where Americans can do the jobs, but maybe it's a matter of who's cheaper. Was that? Do you think that could have been part of it?
So, no, they're paying us our same wage. And here's the other thing. I don't even know if I should say this out loud, but So these guys come here, and then their rent is paid, their this is paid, their yeah, but all their money goes when they get paid from that establishment goes back to, homeland.
So do you guys get paid the same thing as them? Are y'all getting the same exact money between you guys and the migrants?
No, they're making way more than me.
So as far as what you get paid to do the planting of the seeds, is that going to be the same or more?
It's going to be close.
So do they make? Okay, here's what I'm getting at. I understand that they're going to get other money that you don't get from the government. They're getting all kind of stuff. But when it comes down to the company that's paying you guys to perform the task, do they get paid more than you or do they get paid less than you?
So they're getting paid 13.
Uh-huh.
But they live for free.
I get it. I get it.
I'm getting paid 19.
Okay. But see right there, they get paid 13, you get paid 19. That's the bottom line. Now, I get where you're coming from, and I've said the exact same thing. Yes, they're being paid less by the company, but they make more because you, the taxpayer, are subsidizing them. Am I right about that?
Yes. Yes.
And that kind of thing is happening all over the country. It was the same thing in Ohio with the Haitians, where they're working at these places getting paid less, but the taxpayer got to pay for their health care. They got to pay higher car insurance. They got to pay high cost of living. They don't get the magic cars that don't run out. The taxpayer subsidizes them so they live better than we do, although the company pays less. The company benefits by being able to pay them less, but we suffer because we got to pay them to take jobs from us.
Yes.
There we go.
And I didn't know that until I was at the greenhouse. And the only reason I went there is because it was COVID. I was into marketing. And so I was like, oh, Lord, marketing shut down. And then I went there and I was like, okay. And then they're like, oh, Mexicans are kind of running the fields, right? But they're not, because they're just kind of, I don't know, they don't have the work ethic that we are brought up with. And management was starting to notice that. And that's why all 7 of us beat them out. I don't know where they're at now. I'm in a different situation, but yeah.
Well, I hope they're back home, nice and comfy. That's what I hope. Not in the USA.
I totally get it. I'm glad you're talking about it, though, and being honest, because it's got to be talked about in the real way, because I didn't know any of that was going on.
It really is all over the country. So I'm glad that we got something there.
I can do it, just as much as, people are dumb.
They really are. Well, thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Avia.
Thank you. All right, great call. See, that's the same thing I was talking about with the Haitians in Ohio. It's the exact same thing. Okay. Well, you Americans don't want to work, but really, for real, they're just trying to get cheaper labor. The corporations are able to get cheaper labor, and we got to subsidize the so-called cheaper labor. In Ohio, the issue was the migrants can't drive. They don't have licenses, but they're able to get. They don't have driver's licenses, but they're able to get some kind of paper that allows them to drive, and the result is 3 times higher. Excuse me. Wow, I gotta get something to drink. The result was 3 times higher car insurance because of all the wrecks happening in that town. And then they get these magic cards that don't run out. They're able to buy whatever they want. They go in the grocery store, put their fingers right in the spaghetti sauce, throw the can on the ground, break it, don't even clean it up. Okay, because it's a cultural difference. Then they're reducing some of the biodiversity. They take in the cats. the Canadian geese. It's all kind of things they were doing that the locals got to pay for. They got to pay for it. And it wasn't even a black or a white thing, because it was black folks talking about it, white folks talking about it. All those who were actual citizens and live there, they're the ones who have to deal with the migrants coming in. And I said it from the very beginning that the migrant crisis was going to be the biggest issue of the election. I said it, and it has been the biggest issue after the election every single day. Oh, it's a concentration camp and it's brown people, all kind of stupid stuff, man. Get up out of here. ASAP. ASAP, man. Alligator Alcatraz. ASAP. El Salvador. ASAP. And the craziest thing is when they try to bring in guys like Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Why would you pick him to be your champion? A human trafficker who got caught on camera doing it? On camera, body cam, with a whole retrofitted van. They put another row in the van to haul more people from the border into the interior of the nation. The police caught him. They call him ICE like, yo, we got somebody right here. This is clearly human trafficking. Let him go. He good. Huh? And that same guy, they still trying to protect. For what? Does this guy have pictures of a president in his back pocket if he gets locked up? Like, I don't understand. But anyway, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling with me. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. This is also an audio streaming podcast you're listening to. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether they be Google Play, Apple iTunes, Spotify. Link for that will be in the description box, or go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. I'm also on the Rumbles, so check me out on Rumble. All the YouTube videos will be right there on Rumble. Of course, I'm on the Facebooks. Shout out to the Facebook squad. You guys are rocking and rolling. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Check me out. TikTok, I'm on there as well, barely. But I do have a presence on the TikToks. And I think that's pretty much all I got. Did I get everybody's super chats? I believe I did. But shout out to you guys for watching, retweeting, super chatting. Without you, I could not do this. There would be no me. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to the trolls for keeping the mods in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. But that'll be pretty much. Oh, thank you, Sheree. You guys, please subscribe to Uncle ABL. Okay, if you've not done so, please subscribe to Uncle ABL. I got some shorts coming out for that. You guys seem to enjoy the shorts a lot on my different platforms, especially. So I'll do more of those over there. And I think I'm gonna focus on some of these issues people have, because I think people just need some home training. That's what I'm gonna do over on that channel, some home training. But anyway, Uncle ABL, subscribe to that. Subscribe to the audio only podcast. Go to Rumble. If you're over there, follow me there. Follow me on all the platforms, all the Insta snaps, face chats, all of that. I'm available. And any other links, shops, whatever, go to the description box of this video or of the audio podcast. Go to the website, anthonyblogan.com, and check me out there. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.